Live on mine.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. The blood of Jesus. What's happening here?
Okay, it's there. Mine just popped up. I see.
Okay.
You see it? It
Yep,
takes
yeah.
a couple seconds.
Yeah.
We be looking for instant gratification.
That's a word, but you gotta wait. In the
You
waiting
gotta
season.
wait. Sometimes. Yeah. Oh God. Oh man.
But I'm scared of loving. This is the call to worship.
That's what it's called. That's what it was.
Yeah, with Jasmine Sullivan. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello. We are back with the good setup. Let me tell you something. God be looking out for us. Because we definitely logged in yesterday and that price had dropped like 45, 50%. We was like, oh,
that's called favor.
Favor. What? I was like,
you love me. Sorry. Jasmine sends me into worship every time.
Yeah, I cannot with Kiki. Oh man. Welcome.
Same best, but I'm scared of the format that's so down to face. We're gonna give y'all a few minutes to join us. Good evening. Welcome to H.E.A.L podcast, holding each other accountable with love. Too much to ask. We love seeing to hate us. Girl, did you listen to that song by Charity I sent you?
I listened to one. I listened to both.
She said, "Love, it's time to love me right." Something. The last part of that song.
Yeah, because sometimes I have to be mindful of what I digest because
that's real.
It'll take me on.
It'll send you somewhere you don't want to be. We don't need to be there.
Somewhere I don't want to be. Exactly. There you go.
But I'm scared of.
So yeah.
It's an impossible task.
Okay, it has me live.
All right, you ready to get this thing started?
Yes,
it's 7:03. Are we doing a corporate? We'll give them 2 more minutes to join.
We're gonna give them 2 minutes.
We'll get it started.
Yeah, gonna give folks 2 more minutes. You know, it's been a really long day. You know, some people are closing out projects, preparing for the end of their day. So we just want to, you know, a courtesy as they come into the meeting. You know.
I'm scared. I'm sorry, I'm killing your ears. Sorry.
I don't even know how you doing all this right now, but
bless your that coffee, that Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Bless your spirit.
I had a long day. I'd been to church, got baptized, did brunch, drove back from Brooklyn.
But can we not just gloss over that? Can you?
We're gonna dig into the baptism. Okay.
I just
dig in. We're gonna sit there. I'm just doing a quick little highlight.
Okay, cool.
All right. I want to pause the sound. I want to praise God. We thank God for Sister Jasmine Sullivan. Thank God for her ministry and her blessing that she has blessed us with the ministry of song. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Praise the Lord. Okay.
And we also want to, you know, thank her for the times when we wanted to bust some windows out, but we didn't. We just listened to the
Shondo.
Listen, I have talked to a few people. I have talked to a few people down from busting some windows and breaking some tables. So I know Jasmine. Jasmine
you gotta have a first. I was gonna say something. You gotta have a window to bust out, though, honey.
Okay,
I might pop up.
It's only
7:05.
4:05.
It's 4:05 your time. My God.
You see, the sun is still out.
But God is a truth teller. We are in the spirit of truth. Huh?
You telling the truth.
Tell the
You right.
truth and
You
shame
right.
the devil.
Tell
Listen,
the truth and
you
shame the
gotta
devil.
have a window to bust out.
Yeah. Can I be honest and transparent with y'all right now? So I've been talking about like this whole thing with like me gaining weight and me having like this issue about like my appearance right now and everything.
Mm.
And I don't know what it is about StreamYard. I'm here for the look. Like, like I can't show you the whole thing, but I said, I'm gonna start being intentional. I'm gonna put on a little something. So I just want to say thank you to StreamYard because I really wasn't that crazy about my aesthetic last week, but
Mm-hmm.
but there was power in the conversation.
My
So
God.
I felt that in my spirit. But aesthetically, I feel like I'm giving right now.
You are, and you
I feel
should. So
like
you
I feel
you
like
stood
this
up
is
straight.
I'm feeling. Let me sit up straight because the church mothers
Sit
used
up,
to say, "Sit up straight, sit back."
sit up straight, sweetheart,
But
baby. Sit
I
straight.
gotta lean in a little bit
Sit.
because
But listen.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just gotta lean in just a little
Lean
bit.
in.
I can get a
As
little
Hannah say, lean in, lean in. But
lean
here, I
in.
want to say that sometimes the aesthetic is not there, but like you said, the message. It's
The
about the message. Last
message
week was
is
about
there.
the message.
What did Glossed and Crafted rate on my post today? She
Oh,
said,
what she said. Let
"How
me go
you
to that.
feel about you has nothing to do with how someone else feels about you."
My God.
And that is a word, and it goes both ways. You could really be thinking you don't stink, but other people think you trifling,
Stankin'.
stinking,
Little
and you
pungent.
also can be an amazing. You could also be feeling like crap about yourself, but
Mm-hmm.
other people think the sun sets and shines on you. That
Very
is the
true.
duality of life. So thank
My
you,
God.
Lost and Crafted,
We
for reminding
appreciate
me of
you.
that, even though I didn't ask you. No, I'm just playing.
Whoa. Oh.
Get her when I can. She gives me a
She
hard time.
come.
I gotta get her when I can. I gotta get her when I can. Like
Okay.
you too. Whew, I gotta
I
I
got
gotta get
baptized
her.
today. I'm on a different I'm on a different vibe today. I'm on
No,
my,
I'm not trying to bring it out of you today. I am very proud of you. I'm being supportive. But I might poke a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Just a little,
okay.
I'm
Presence of the
sorry.
Lord is here.
All right.
Presence
So
of the Lord is here. Okay.
so you want to do like a full intro and then I read the description of the show so we can
Okay.
get people
Yeah.
back. Okay.
Sure. So today is Sunday, January 19th, and we welcome you to episode 4 of Heal, Holding Each Other Accountable with Love podcast, featuring myself and my lovely co-host, the incomparable H.E.A.L.
I'm here for the compliments, honey. Thank you.
Okay, we gotta lift each other up. We don't do who else gonna do it.
Listen,
We also go by Heal with Love. We kind of took that with love part, but um, we are in week 4. We are committed to this weekly podcast every day at 7 p.m. And so we welcome you to join us. If you don't catch us live every Sunday on Instagram, we do post a replay on YouTube. Now we're working on getting a little bit more consistency on when we post on YouTube. Keep us in your prayers. This is all new to us. We're learning this thing. We both have full-time jobs, full lives, in addition to this new venture that we're on. And our hope is, Jasmine's going to read the scripture, so, but our hope is to build community and a space in which we can thrive together. Okay, heal with love. Jasmine, pass it off to you.
all right. So welcome to the Hill podcast. Join 2 real life friends and professional women on a journey of self discovery, growth, and healing. Together, we explore what it means to unpack life's challenges, embrace self awareness, grow in our spiritual practices, and navigate healing, one honest conversation at a time. This is not a space for giving advice, but rather a place to share tools, tips, and reflections that have inspired us along the way. Whether you're looking for clarity, connection, or curiosity driven dialogue, you're in the right place. Let's hold each other accountable with love as we grow together. Hey, y'all.
Amen. I'm real churchy today. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm real churchy today, so just forgive me.
Listen, I'm here for
What
it.
you
Oh, Jasmine
said.
said congratulations, Kiki.
Thank you so much. So, yes, if you haven't heard or saw my stories yet, I made a really bold step today and got baptized. I did grow up in the church. but I never got baptized. I know that's kind of crazy, but I'm a person, I don't want to get, should I start here? I don't really follow trends or do things just because it's something to do. Like I grew up in religion and I can run a whole service with my eyes closed, but even from a young age, I was never really a follower. And so when everyone was getting baptized, I was like, but also baptism didn't feel obtainable growing up in a religious church. It felt like you had to cross all your I's and dot your T's to be even eligible for baptism. And I wasn't that girl. But we've evolved, and I've been on my spiritual journey. And I've been attending Purpose Life Church for the past, I would say I started in May of last year, but I was on and off, and I've been more consistent in December. I'm going to post my testimony on my page. I might tag H.E.A.L. I don't know. We'll see what
You
happens. We'll
should.
talk about
I
that
think you
later.
should.
Okay.
I
I'm
think
going
you
to
should.
post my testimony on there. And, but I decided to get baptized in December, and this church, they're just phenomenal how they organize and how they do things. And they set it up, and I got baptized today. Some of my friends and family was able to make it out to the BK and support me. And we did some brunch. So yes, I'm tired. That's why Dad was like, I don't know where she got the energy from, because I was at church by like 9:30, got baptized around 10:15 at the 10 o'clock service. We did brunch and made it back here. I laid down for like an hour or a half or so. And I'm amped, but I'm excited because it's definitely a milestone for me. It's a proclamation of really centering Christ in my life. This page is not to tell you what to believe in. We are followers of Christ. We have a spirit. We believe in God. What you believe in, that's on you, but we pray that whatever we share can encourage you in whatever journey you're on, and it can draw you. If you don't have something to believe in, maybe this can draw you to something to believe in. But I have a very liberal approach when it comes to people's belief systems. So I'll say that much. But on my personal journey, I believe in God and Christ. And this church speaks to me where I'm at now in my journey, my spiritual journey. So I'm excited about that. But thank you
Congratulations.
thank you for the congratulations. Yeah.
That's really dope. Yeah, I think I got baptized when I was a kid, but I haven't been baptized like as an adult. And to be honest, it's never something that I really put any thought into it. Um, but yeah, the jury is still out on it.
Yeah. What I do love is how the pastor explained the symbolism of baptism, and that kind of helped make it more obtainable. It feels more attainable. I don't like where religion makes things too far out of reach. But he made it was, I like the obtainable approach. Like, you don't have to be perfect to be. So,
I like that. I like the idea of not having to be perfect. I like the idea of not having to be fully the person that you aspire to be or fully who you see yourself as in order to attain or be in alignment with a good life, right? And creating a good life for yourself. And that's something that I even like that's challenging for me sometimes, and like dealing with all the things that like that create adversity in my life is like me understanding and accepting, like, Jasmine, you don't have to show up every day as the best version of yourself. Some versions are not going to always be the best, but you still deserve peace. You still deserve, like, you're still worthy of the good things, even though every day is not good for you. And I think, and I appreciate that. I appreciate people who have that mindset, because that is like another lie that we've been told, and like this idea. And it's like, it's crazy that you got to spend so much time kind of like unlearning these lies or unlearning these behaviors that are really like detrimental to like ourselves in so many different ways, like just to letting go of it.
And that's spot on to what we've been working on. My church is on this 21-day devotion and fast, and the theme this year is the whole truth. And the purpose of this is literally to unlearn the lies that society has told us, we've told ourselves, internal and external lies, and telling ourselves and relearning the whole truth based on scripture. So every lie that we've been told, there is scripture to back up and show that how that's a lie, and giving us the truth in God and giving us the freedom to live full lives. And like you said, this journey is not about perfection. It's about the effort and putting God first and saying, God, I always say, look at the Bible. He didn't use the perfect ones. He didn't use the priests. He used the ones that were flawed to do the work. I don't got, I'm not there at the space of quoting scripture, but he didn't use the perfect people. And we're not here to be perfect, but we're here to say, God, in my imperfection, I seek you. And I was reading scripture this week, and the scripture literally said, and I don't know the exact verse and chapter, but it said literally, and I will find it and I would love to put it in, but he said, I'm gonna find it. It said, his power is made perfect in our weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to find, because I want to be able to give this.
Yeah. And it's like that also connects to the idea of long suffering, so that we are able to be refined, and God is refining us in those moments. And when I say refine, making us new, creating the better versions of ourselves, being more in alignment with God, or whoever we're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. I just want to give the correct scripture. It's 2 Corinthians 12, 12 and 9. It says, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. And the reason why I quote that, because it literally got me through this week. I had a moment. Waters get a little choppy when you're going through life and navigating different emotions. And the anxiety started to come up, and I found an empty office at my job. And I just began to repeat, your power, your power is made perfect in my weakness. So God, I want your power to perfect in this moment, because I'm weak. And I just kept repeating that. And that's a practice I'm learning, that in those moments of weakness, apply the word. Find a verse that speaks to your whatever that you're feeling, and begin to repeat that to whatever you're feeling. That helped bring me out. And just applying the word, because those words, as we've been learning, is God's promise. And God's promise can't come back void. You have to hold them accountable. God, you said your power was made perfect in our weakness. I'm weak. Perfect right here. I need your power to overtake this weakness. And
that was beautiful.
Thank you.
One of the things that I realized for me in 2024 that I've learned how to do better, I'm learning better how to talk to God. Because I think there was a period where I felt like I didn't know what to say, and I was trying to say it, eloquently, or I was trying to say it in, from a perspective of a biblical approach, right? The way I approach the rest of my relationships, how kind of like a code switch, in some weird way. And it was just I didn't have it. I didn't have the ability to do that well, and it didn't feel natural to me. You know what I mean?
But that's not required. Yeah.
But I didn't know that. And it was in 2024, and me learning to just be God, listen, today is rough. I need this, and then also waking up sometimes and be what, God, thank you for your provision. Thank you for today. Today I did a gratitude meditation, and it's just me learning. And it's I'm always listening to other people and watching other people. And I've been learning a lot about my process, my spiritual process, through another friend of mine. And now watching you kind of go through your process is also it's making me think in larger context to how we form our relationship with God. And if we could form our relationship with God and kind of keep the noise out. Keep the expectation of what it's supposed to look like. Keep the expectation of what the church is supposed to kind of do, and just create your own personal relationship with God. And then let it take you wherever it's going to take you. It might take you to a Baptist church. It might take you to a non-denominational. It might take you to, a monastery. I don't know. But wherever it takes you, let it take you.
I remember take you to God. Praise the Lord.
There was this quote, I think it's John Lennon, and he was just whatever helps you sleep at night. I'm not here to judge your spiritual walk, your process. All I can do is I do encourage people to find one. Find something.
Find a community, a faith-built community that you can relate to.
Yeah. What they say? Where two or more are gathered.
My God. Whew, touch it. It's funny because, I grew up in a charismatic church. I grew up in Church of God in Christ, and we're very much, hand clapping, foot stomping. And it's funny. And, I always, if you follow my page, I love the sound of church. I'm a churchy kid, that hand clapping, foot stomping, Jesus, all that. But it's funny. the church I go to is very much like, Yahweh, you are enough. He's amazing, God. You're so, don't you feel his holy presence? It's one of those.
Mhm.
But and my son today, he came to support me at my baptism. And he was like, Ma, like, I'm like, I know ain't no shout, ain't no tambourine playing. But it's Black folks. We in the middle of Brooklyn. We on Flatbush Ave and Kings Highway. A bunch of West Indians like, Yahweh is great. It's definitely but I love the pastor is from Pentecostal church. He's a Pentecostal roots. So he does sometimes throw a little Fred Hammond in there, throw a little old school song that us older saints, I have to say I'm an older saint, seasoned saints can relate to and kind of bring us in. Because sometimes I'll be lost, like, he'll throw a little what song he threw it? He did No Weapon the one time, girl. I lost him. He did the Fred Hammond No Weapon. I was like, and he did one day. The songs not coming to mind, but this those old songs that we grew up on. And so it's definitely a different, it's not that, I told my friend today, I said, I like the calmness. Like right now in my life, I'm okay with the calm, but also I love the way the church runs. They're organized. One thing, two, they don't know me, they don't know my family. And right now, I just want to get fed. I'm not looking to work at this point. At some point, God may say, sister, you need to get up and join a community, a committee. But right now, I'm just there to be fed spiritually. And I wanted to find a place. And sometimes John handles so much that sometimes God will pull you from your family and take you somewhere that's unfamiliar to grow you and feed you.
Listen.
I know. And one thing I can say is while it's different, and the pastor hasn't doing a hoop, he didn't do a hoop in Harlem, but he speaks the word clear and concise. He has bullet points. They're organized. You check it with an iPad. Many even say, yo, Ma, they are like a well-oiled machine. I love organization. I love, as much as we don't want to say it, church is a business. And if in the way the church runs is a reflection of the leader's business acumen. If you want a successful church, you have to know how to do things that's going to appeal to the people you're looking to draw. What is your demographic? What are you trying to draw? You want young people? Then you need youth ministry. You need ministry that's going to speak to the young. If you want to attract young adults, what are you going to do? So I even understand, like, there's a college over there. What's that college over there behind
college?
What's college is over there? It's off of Flatbush Ave. It's behind that Target. Brooklyn College?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of college. They have a huge college population. So I know they have to, they have I'm not gonna say market, but they appeal to that. And then there's also, but it ranges from the older saints that were there from his father. I think he took the church up from his father, so you have the older saints, and it's growing. But anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent, but it's just important to find what works for you. And I hope that at some point you find a church over on that side of the country that speaks to.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've tried, and so I do come from a Baptist background. I do like a little bit of fire breathing, but I also I like non-denominational churches. I like to be taught. Yeah, I need a mix. Like I want to be taught, right? I need to feel the spirit, but I also need for you to teach me something. Give me something to think about, something that I can chew on. And
you the John Hannah anointing. You the John Hannah.
Listen,
and preach. Because we talk about John Hannah
from Chicago. Me and Kiki about to take a trip.
Yo, but we're definitely listen.
John Hannah in Chicago, like I just love his, like how he be like, listen,
he just,
and it's interesting, but it's just like for me, I'm a sociology nerd. I'm a history nerd. So it's like I have some real life concerns when it comes to the institution of church.
Right.
I have no qualms about my relationship with God, but the institution of church is a struggle for me. It's a challenge for me. So, but I also understand and recognize the Spirit of God. I've known that since I was a kid. So when I walk into an environment, I'm around people, and you know me, I'd be like, something ain't right. Like I'd be like, I don't know about this energy right now. Something's off, So sometimes, like, if I don't feel that connection, spiritually, like I don't push myself into spaces just because it's a nice church or, you know what I mean? So, and I haven't been to a church here, and I haven't tried a lot. I've tried some stuff online. Like for me, it's like, if I can connect with you online and like watching you online makes me want to go to your church, then I'm interested. I went to a church out here and it was cool, but it wasn't like it didn't compel me to come back. It was a little,
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean, it takes
yeah,
time. Like I found this
it's
church in
fine.
2023. I didn't go till Mother's Day of 2024, and I still
Yeah.
was dibbling, dabbling back and forth. And here's the thing. I want to say this to anybody who's watching this. Don't wait till catastrophe hits to run to Jesus, because that's what I did. I was dibbling, dabbling. I knew I should have been going, and then some stuff fell apart. Well, I went through a
Yeah.
breakup. Let's be very transparent. We're here for transparency. I went through
Mhm.
a breakup. I found myself disappointed and heartbroken. And I was like, I'm gonna have to find I gotta go somewhere. Like, because
Mhm.
this ain't it. And I was already doing virtual church and that was definitely pulling me through, but I needed that community. I need to feel, I mean, I felt God's presence even through the virtual services, but I just like, you know
Mhm.
what, God, it's time for me. But I also remember I did this for Madison as well. My original search was for Madison to give her, she didn't grow up in a church like I did. At age, she's 10. By the time I was 10, I was going to Memphis every convocation every year. I knew every Bible in the book, the book in the Bible. She's not nowhere near go out, but also I didn't force church on my kids. So like now she wants to go. Like today she found I went to church. She's like, you betrayed me, because she's the one that wants to go. So the fact that even now she opens and reads the Bible, every night we have to pray the bed. I play the bedtime prayer videos on the TV.
Mhm.
She's also a fan of John Hannah. So when I turn on New Life and he ain't preaching, she's like, Hannah ain't there. I don't want to hear it. So she either wants to hear Hannah. She's even asked me to forward her the links to Hannah's message. You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
like I knew what she needed and I found a church that can get her there. So sometimes it's not even about us, especially as a caretaker, if you're a parent or aunt or uncle, whatever, and you are responsible for a child.
Mhm.
Sometimes the decision we make is not about us. It's about the
Yeah.
people you're bringing up. I've had my experience with church, religion, and I
Yeah.
know who God is, and I can find my fix. Like Hannah gives me my hoop and holler when I need a little 2-step, and I
Mhm.
go to Pastor Heston. He's able to, like you said, he's a teacher,
Mhm.
and I appreciate teaching. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I know y'all like to hear this, but a lot of folks that be hooping and hollering don't even know how to read. They just know how to hoop and holler because it's like I can shout because I know how to do it. But can you really dissect the word and show me how to apply this to life? Show me how this is applicable to everyday life. How the word talks about saving money. How the word talks about, understanding whatever. There's something in the Bible for everything. The Bible is not meant to become this rigid rule book that makes you feel like you are imperfect every way. It's actually there. It's a book of wisdom to show you how to live an abundant life, not
Mhm.
to apply all these unsustainable rules.
Mhm.
That's the religion. And
I
remember, a
agree.
lot of this religion
Mm.
was interpreted by folks who were illiterate. No shade. Those things built our traditions and culture, but some of those things were just passed down
Mhm.
with no real. So I need some substance, some teacher. You gotta break this thing down for me.
Mhm.
So I agree with you on that, and I need to see and feel it, understand it. I like to feel it. And sometimes it's not gonna always be, fun. It's not always gonna make you feel good. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just sit and listen, and that's something I'm
Mhm.
getting comfortable too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited about each of our journeys, and I pray that you find it's gonna take time. It took me a long time to find
Mhm.
something that I
Yeah.
was committed to going to every Sunday.
Yeah. I
And in
disconnected.
Brooklyn,
Yeah. Like I
yeah,
disconnected from church at 17 after my grandmother
yeah,
passed. So it's been, and then I started, I was going to CCC when I lived in
mhm,
Brooklyn for a period
yeah,
of time. And I always enjoyed Pastor Bernard.
mhm,
Then I moved to Long Island, never really got back into that. And then living
yeah.
here, like, yeah. I said I moved to Long Island. I want to make sure
I didn't even just say
I just want
you
to let
said
you know I didn't say I
appropriate.
moved in Long Island.
So, if you're a Long Islander, you don't say I live in Long Island, you say I live on Long Island. I had to correct her a couple weeks ago. I was like, "What are we doing? You was there for 10 years, at least
What?
on." But you just said something that made me think. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so, you
Yeah.
know, um,
Um,
yeah, uh,
so I was thinking
it went.
about it's okay, it'll come back to you. So I was thinking about last week, right? Because we were talking
Mhm,
about like my story and my my journey with like PCOS and inflammation and things like that. And I remember when we first started talking about doing a podcast, this was like during the pandemic. Um, I remember us having like really like real in-depth conversations around our health journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And that conversation last week, I've been thinking about it like the whole time and just thinking about so many things that I've experienced and like even like the challenges that I'm having right now with my health, and me trying to figure out like what's the next step. So I was wondering, did you want to share any of your health journey, um, thinking about like, being more specific from last week, and so that we can like piggyback and move like
Yeah.
start, like this conversation about our health journeys because
Yeah.
um, but we might have a surprise for y'all next week. But so
Working on that.
do you want to talk about that today? Are you open for that
Yeah,
conversation?
I'm open for that. That's like we said, when we really started talking about this, it was about that.
Yeah.
Other things have happened since then, but the original purpose of this conversation that we knew we wanted to do was about our health journey and our weight loss, our journeys with our weight, gaining, losing, whatever that is, and our body images and all the things attached to it. So yeah, I'm down. Let's do this.
Okay,
Just to be honest with the audience, I was kind of going back and forth with what I want to talk about this episode. But yeah, let's go with it. Let's go.
okay,
Let's jump
cool.
in.
So I remember last week you
Mhm.
said that some of your some of the negative things that you began to tell yourself in regards to your aesthetic came from adults kind of shaming you for things that you didn't have any control of, right?
Mhm.
Like, like your shape and things like that.
Mhm.
Is that part connected to your health journey, or is that a separate thing?
It's definitely connected, and let me explain why.
Okay.
So, like I said, growing up, I didn't have weight issues. I was considered very slim, but I
Hmm.
had a shape.
Hmm.
But I found myself getting two types of attention that I didn't like. First of all, I don't like attention. I don't like. Well, I could be I'm a public speaker. um, in certain areas. We have a podcast, but I don't like being the center of attention. And growing up, I was slim, but I had a shape. I had always curvy. And there's two things I experienced as a teenager, preteen to teenager. Either judgment from adult women,
Mm-hmm.
and then unwanted and unsolicited attention from adult men, or just men in general. And I found it to be creepy, disgusting, and all things above.
Hmm.
And it would a lot of times I can tell you, like, I remember standing on a corner of straight path along Island Avenue, getting ready to cross the street. Just like men catcalling, I always thought that was just disgusting. Like, some girls love that stuff. I don't love that. I think it was Juve. I was in Brooklyn one night and this guy literally grabbed my arm and wouldn't let go of me. It was like, "You're coming with me." And I'm like, why? Like, men always felt they had the audacity to invade my personal space because they liked my body, how I
Mm-hmm.
looked. And that would turn my stomach. I hated that. So some girls will lean into that. I hated it, and why I ended up wearing baggy clothes. I considered myself a tomboy growing up. I did not like that attention. I thought it was disgusting that men would act on these thoughts, these intrusive thoughts, and would act out, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore invade my personal space on that. So at one point, after I had Manny, it's when I got the double shot, and I really think that's what blew me up. But I never prioritized losing the weight, and I realized when I gained the weight, I didn't get as much attention, but that didn't bother me. So I realized that my weight became a shield. My weight became a defense mechanism for me.
Mm-hmm.
I There was some packing I did over the
Wow.
years, but I realized that my weight was like a security blanket for me. Because um, being I don't know how far I want to go into this. I'm not ready to share that yet, but just knowing that, just the audacity of adult men
Mm-hmm.
and
really powerful, Key.
crossing boundaries. Yeah.
Mm,
And I realized that I didn't want my body to be, I know, again, no shame to women who fully embrace their body, but also here's the thing, I wasn't taught to embrace my body. Sensuality was in the religious church was frowned upon. Like I said,
mhm,
where sensuality was like a sin. So
mhm,
imagine a young woman like me who had a shape, who had things and was attractive and got that attention. I felt unclean. I felt
mhm,
dirty. Not because of
mhm,
me, but because people in their men specifically in their
mhm,
twisted minds sexualized me.
mm,
And when you're not empowered or taught as a young woman to understand and embrace your sensuality as a woman,
mhm,
and you are constantly harassed by men of all ages, you literally feel like a piece of meat.
mm.
Now,
Yeah.
some girls be like, I would die to have that attention. Not I. I don't like it. It's ghetto. Wouldn't recommend.
Nah, but that's real though.
Yeah.
So, okay, so being pregnant, right,
Hmm.
and gaining weight, some of that you really can't control because it's a part of
Hmm.
the process.
Yeah.
But I want to dig a little bit more into like it, as far as you want to go, just
Okay.
the concept and just like the polar opposite like of these experiences that we're talking about.
Okay.
Because like for you to unpack that when you started gaining weight, it really didn't bother you because it kind of created a shield or a barrier. It was a
Hmm.
level of protection,
From
you know what I'm
unwanted
saying,
attention from
from
men.
unwanted
Yes.
attention. And then you're having those experiences, and I'm having this experience of like, I feel trapped in a body that I didn't ask for.
Hmm.
But somehow we both have these similar experiences where it connects to how we participate in relationships with men,
Hmm.
how we look at ourselves, like
Hmm.
our worthiness, but it's just from two different ends. Like I think that that's very interesting, like how we
Yeah.
all experience different things, but it shows up in similar ways.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like negative
Yeah.
self-talk. We both experience that, but from
Hmm.
different angles and different reasons.
Yeah.
That's I think that
Yeah.
that's very interesting. That's why like I'm such a sociology and like human
Yeah.
behavior nerd because
Uh-huh.
I think it's astounding how
Girl.
two people can experience something and look at it differently.
Very differently. Because you could look at me growing up and like, look at her. She gets all the attention. She gets all the. I remember one time my cousin Bilal, we used to have, if you grew up on Long Island, in Koldrick, third jurisdiction, we had our annual church conference. We was at the Best Western Hotel in Hempstead. And no, I was like 13, but I had yo, I ain't gonna hold y'all. My body was, if I knew what I had, I could have been like one of them video vixens. My cousin, like the body was crazy. Like you see how I'm curvy now, but imagine me, no kids, crazy. I remember I wore a dress to church one day. So seeing girls now with these bodycon dresses in church, back in the 90s, I remember one day I had an African print, kente cloth print bodycon dress. Hit every curve you can think of. I was killing it. I went up for offering. I it was a good dress, but it was too form fitting. And in the church, you're supposed to dress modest because, again, this is the mind freak that they give you. You have to dress modest so the men would have control over their thoughts. So I had a body contrast. My great aunt, I love her to death. She looked at me. She said, "Girl, if you could have took me and dug a hole and put me in it and got me out of there, just wet, because the condemnation, the look that she gave me. Again, I don't blame her. You know, that's what the generation she's from. But we were taught to dress modest, to leave it's something to the imagination. I was fully covered. There was no skin showing. All you saw was my curves. But men are gonna have to go, "Ooh," right? And I'm penalized because they can't control their eyes or they can't control themselves. So we dress modest, I mean, the teachers on this, there should be a sense of modesty, I think. But I see today in churches now where they dress very different than the way I grew up in church is interesting to me. And I want to go back to also me being pregnant in the church. And that video that came out a couple weeks ago about that girl standing in front of the church apologizing to the church. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Very triggering. And one of the reasons why I left the church at 17, because I was not going to stand in front of a church to apologize to a church because you can see my sin. You can see mine.
Can you expand on that a little bit? Because your sin you can see. What's the
So,
opposite?
because here's the thing, we in churches I found, and not today's a little different, but back then, churches, they focused on fornication, homosexuality, because a lot of flamboyant men, pregnancy, right? The things you could openly see. But they ain't talk about the lying. They didn't talk about the cheating. They didn't talk about the stealing, the substance abuse, the covenant of somebody else's wife or husband, because you couldn't see those. Those things were done in the dark. So they could only point out the things that was easy to point out. You listening to music, you drinking, you got pregnant. So this is me as a 17-year-old. I never understood, and molestation, I never understood how you're going to call someone to the front of the church to apologize for being pregnant. Because you can see the manifestation of my sin, the manifestation of my sin, right? But you can't see that Sally's sleeping with Joe. You can't see that Paul is touching little Johnny, right? So, but you're going to call me in front of the church to apologize to a church full of sinners? That don't make no sense. What are you talking about? And I refused to do it. And I said, well, I'll leave because I'm not standing in front of the church to apologize. If that's the case, we all need to get in front of the church. Because you a liar. That's a sin. You steal. That's a sin. There's no big sin, little sin. If God cracked the sky and you steal and I'm fornicating at the same time, guess we won't go to hell. If that's what you want to say it, right? So I never subscribed to that. And I was always very strong. I was strong-willed from a young age. They would call me rebellious. I don't think it's rebellious. I was very logical. If it didn't make sense to me, that's going back to the baptism. The way you saying perverted thoughts. Again, why we had to dress modest, because people couldn't control their thoughts, to taught us in the comment section. So going back to even like baptism, they made things so strict that it made it unattainable or even sustainable. You know why? I've seen adults that I grew up with who are saved and this not even in church anymore. Because it's not sustainable. You're close, you got the religion, but do you really have this Christ? Like, you could be in the church but mean. That's not the fruits of the spirit. You mean. You're mean.
You're mean and you're nasty.
And you're nasty.
Yeah, and you're not welcome.
You're not. I don't feel welcome.
I don't feel welcome. Nah, but that's real though.
So that's, I feel like I lost. Did I lose my way here? Or
no. So that was your foundation though. Because
that was my foundation.
That was your foundation. So then moving forward to where you from the foundation to where you are now, what do you want to share about your health journey in this current season?
So, growing up, right, I had the whole body imaging, but the opposite direction. I was slim, right? And then now, the good thing, I never had any health issues, never had high blood pressure, diabetes, none of those things. I just always was overweight. And for me, in my experience, I didn't have issues being in a relationship. I had no problem. I've been in 2 long-term relationships. I've dated. Weight didn't get in the way of that. Maybe it limited the amount of men or the type of men who pay attention to me, but I didn't see getting a man, right? But let's break that down too, because just getting a man wasn't hard. Now, that's a whole other topic, because the goal is not to just get a man, is to get a quality man. But before you can even get into that, you have to know yourself and love yourself and to say who you are. So my years growing up and as adult and dating, that my decision making was based on who I was. And I was a person who didn't know what it is to love myself, skinny or heavyset. I didn't know myself. I had to find myself. I knew myself in church, religion. And I found it was a very weird situation. But it didn't stop me. Like, my weight, and I went to college, started my career, did all the things. got men, and that's what you want to call it, have relationships. They wasn't the best, but they were there. That's another conversation we could talk about. We could break that down. But I realized for me that I wasn't really happy, but also I felt it in my joints. Like I just didn't feel healthy. Again, I didn't have high blood pressure, nothing like that, but my knees hurt. My body felt, I was tired. I'm commuting to the city every day. I realized that in order for me to love someone else, or even to accept love from someone else, I have to love myself. And the first thing for me was like, I want to get this weight off. Now, in my 20s and 30s, I would I could lose 15, 20 pounds easy. Go on a low carb diet, lose weight. But during the pandemic, stress life, I was in an unhealthy relationship, and I had ballooned to my highest weight during the pandemic, and I didn't like it. I was engaged. He was an alcoholic. And I was just existing. And I realized that I wanted something different. And it was time to put myself first. I was spending so much time managing a relationship, a person, a thing, and didn't put myself first at all. Like the only thing I focused on I focused on my career and excelling, but I never prioritized my health or myself. I didn't really have, again, I didn't have any medication. I was like, I'm good. I'm just a little heavy, but I'm good. But during the pandemic, things kind of spiraled for me, and I realized I just wanted to change, and I wanted out of everything. So I called off my engagement, and I began to actually work on myself. And I was trying to lose weight, but it wasn't really coming off the way it was. And I was considering weight loss surgery. And I started the process of doing weight loss surgery. And I was like, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do therapy while preparing for it. Because I realized a lot of the things are emotional and psychological. And I know that the eating, I'm an emotional eater, all these things, I knew these things were contributing to my weight gain. So I wanted to really unpack that. And the thing that talk about like the shield of the weight and behind that, I wanted to unpack that. So even because, weight loss surgery is not a easy fix. You still have to maintain it. Many people get weight loss surgery and gain it all back because they don't deal with the root. And I realized my goal was, I'm going to get this, I'm going to deal with the root. So I can get this weight off and keep it off and maintain it. So I started that journey in like 2020 to 2021. I started the journey of like exploring weight loss surgery. Yeah.
And how do you feel now? Because you've maintained it. I know I can tell you some stories. I know people who had those procedures and weren't able to maintain it. And I believe it's like because of what you said, because we don't deal with the root, and we don't
deal with the root.
Yeah, we don't.
So I got gastric bypass. No. That's what I got. No, the sleeve. I got the sleeve, girl. I got gastric bypass.
Wait a minute.
I got the sleeve, not gastric bypass. Didn't do that. I didn't cross up no intestines. I got the sleeve in April 2022. So it goes so far. It feels so far away. I got my surgery in 2022. April.
Yes, it was
2022. It was March, April.
So I know. I know when you came to visit me here in 2022 in the fall, you had already had it. That's all I know.
Yeah, I had just moved that spring. Yeah, I had it like that earlier that year, like March, April. I had the sleeve, so I had the weight loss surgery in April of 2022.
Oh, okay.
And when I got it, I knew I had exhausted all other options, but also when I got it, I didn't tell many people. I kept it very close to my close circle because I didn't want to answer the questions. You'll hear things like, well, I did it the natural way and I didn't do no surgery. I didn't do no. It's okay, whatever works for you. Like I've done that too, but I've exhausted all my options and I felt this was best for me. And to be honest with you, it was the best decision I've ever made. But on top of making that decision, it's like you said, doing the real work, the emotional work, the real work of unpacking, the weight gain, and how we approach our relationship with food. So yeah, I've successfully maintained. I've yo-yoed. Like I was in a relationship last almost 2 years, and new relationship weight, I put on like 20 pounds. We can unpack that too. But the weight gain part, and like even that, and kind of beating myself up and doing taking other avenues, we'll get there. But anyway, I did the weight loss surgery in April 2022. I kept it very close to the chest. I told my close friends about it. And my initial thought was, honestly, during recovery, the first 3 months, I regretted it at first because it was very hard. You have to relearn how to eat again. Like to drink an ounce of water took me about 30 minutes. Like you can look at something, want to eat it, but you knew it was going to take you 30 minutes to finish 4 ounces of food. And it's the same diet. You got to eat low carb, low sugar, low calorie. You have to watch everything you take in. And it's literally, I mean, it forces you to do it. That's the only difference. Like we don't have the discipline to do it on our own, or we fail to have the discipline to do it. So that's why we try something that fails. Yeah. But when somebody cut your stomach into a size of banana, you ain't got no choice.
I just want to say, you have been on a roll, and you haven't done. This is the first one. I just want to commend you, because if you don't know Kiki, Kiki is hilarious. And if there's an opportunity for a witty joke, she got it, and it's gonna happen really quick. That was the first one, because I've been waiting.
Okay, I've been good. It's been an hour, almost an hour.
I said to myself, she really serious today. I appreciate both versions, but this is very rare. So go ahead, girl, finish your story.
So when your stomach is the size of a banana, you ain't got much options but to eat about 2 ounces of food at every 20, every hour, every 4 hours. Of course you're gonna lose 80 pounds in 4 weeks, because you only eating about an ounce of food a day. Like it's, and I remember one time I was on the floor, I was like, oh my God, first of all, they pump you up with air to even do the incisions. The gas alone after the post-op is insane. Hurt. When I tell you pain, so like the recovery is pretty intense. And I did regret it. I did have buyer's remorse in the beginning. But as I began to relearn and learn how to eat and figure out my restrictions, and some people's lives change really drastically. Like they can't eat certain things. Like I can't eat Chick-fil-A salads anymore. So I don't reject. There's a term called rejection, where when you relearn to eat certain foods, you reintroduce foods back into your diet, because you start very slow. You start from like soft foods, like almost like liquids to soft foods, and then you can reintroduce foods. You're like, some people can't eat bread anymore because it's just too restrictive. I really have zero restrictions. The only things I really can't do too much is greasy foods. Like I like chicharron, but I know at this point I can only eat very little of that, or I'll get sick, or I'll get nauseous. I cannot eat Chick-fil-A salads. I don't know what that's about. Chick-fil-A salads in, right back out. I don't know what that's at. I can't do Celsius drinks.
They changed some of the recipes. And
okay, well, my body said, no ma'am, no sir, we're not doing that. And McDonald's fries. I can't eat a whole McDonald's fry. I can have a couple of them. I'll get sick. I will literally get sick to my stomach.
You mean like a couple bites of one? Or you
no,
mean
if
like...
I can't a serving, like a small fry, if I have a whole small fry to myself, I will be sick.
Oh, okay.
Like I will have a stomach ache and just be like, I'm out for the count. So I've learned what I can and cannot eat. It's mainly greasy food. I can't do too much greasy food. I have a taste for fried chicken sometimes, or like a chicharron, or like a fry, but I know just to eat a little bit of that. But now I can eat chips and cookies all day. See, my restrictions are very...
Can we talk about our midnight run the other day?
Our what?
Our midnight run, our 2 a.m. run.
Baby.
Can we talk about that?
That was life. Oh, yes.
Can we talk about that? Okay.
We can, because that was everything.
I just want to wrap, like not wrap it up because we could go back, but I want to like just bring this like point together.
Okay.
What I appreciate about people and like the relationships that I have in my life is that we're all living separate, different lives. Like all of our journeys are so different. But I feel like as we kind of like move forward in our like adulthood and our maturation of different ways, we find space for each other to support for anything, right? And I appreciate the fact that you've never said to me, well, Jasmine, why don't you just have surgery? You've never said it. And I
Wow.
appreciate that because
Oh,
people
wow.
have said that to me. People have said that to me. I even have a story. We can do it because this is about you, but we can do that another day. I
Yeah.
have a story about like um the gastro bypass and why I never did it. It's like it was a whole thing. But
So it's gastric bypass and this the sleeve.
it's a couple of them. But this was
So
like
I did the sleeve.
you did the sleeve, but I was on the journey for the gastro. And I had did everything. I did the psychological, I did the stress test, I had the date, like I did everything. And then one night, God was like, "Don't do it."
Mm.
It was like I heard it clear. He was like, "Don't do it. It's not time." And I'm gonna be honest with you. At the time, if I knew what I would have to deal with now, at the time, I probably would have just did it. But I think me not doing it is really the catalyst for why and how I changed my life.
Yeah.
Because if I would have had the gastro then,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have went on the journey that I'm on now.
Now, I will say this. Knowing what you know now, if you were to decide to do it, I think it would be better. If you were to decide to do something now, it'd be better
Mhm.
because you understand you have a better relationship with food. And
Yes.
you
I have
understand,
a
like, you have a better
Mhm.
education, like, you're educated, you have nutritionists. So, like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that a lot of people have a mistake of and do wrong. Like I said,
Mhm.
they don't really unpack their relationship with food and really
Yep.
understand what, like, you learned your body.
Mhm.
You learn the things your body responds to. A lot of
Mm.
people get this gastric bypass and be breaking the rules. I can't do carbonated drinks. If I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
remember the
champagne,
other day? I was like, "Do you wanna?" I said, "Do you wanna?"
oh, I love a French 75. French 75 is my favorite drink.
Yeah, it was
You know
that.
how
We
much
was
it
talking about the
pains
fridge, and
me?
you was like,
But if I know if I'm gonna eat, I can't. If I'm just gonna be drinking, I'll just go ahead and drink. But if I'm gonna be
"Yeah,
drinking and eating, I'm not even gonna do that to myself because that those bubbles fill me up and I get bloated and that's it. It's a wrap. I'm gonna be uncomfortable. So
yeah,
like
no."
you have to learn your body. You have to learn how to nap. Like when I first had my surgery, going out to eat was so overwhelming because one thing I noticed how much Americans in general overeat.
Mhm.
Like I went to a buffet with my family. I was disgusted. But I'm not one of the people who become like these food warriors or like these food police. Oh, you eat, you overeat. You like you said, oh, you need to go get surgery. No, I ain't gonna lie to you. To see how much food they ate, like they have plates of food. I had a piece of bacon, 2 string beans, and like some mashed potatoes. And I was just like,
I can't."
but I don't want to be that. I will never be that. First, I'm not that person anyway. I'm not judgy, right?
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it either. I think I think
Can't do
sometimes
what?
I can't do like buffets and stuff the way I used to.
Yeah,
'Cause it's a waste of money because I can't
it's
eat.
too much.
I
Yeah.
can't eat that much. But I think for me sometimes it's an automatic defense
Hmm.
when people are like, "Well, just eat it," or like, "Let's go do this." And I'm just like, "I
I
don't
don't
eat
eat
like
everywhere.
I don't
First of all, I
not
don't eat
only that,
everywhere.
but it's like not only that, I don't eat a
I
lot.
don't
Like
eat
I
a
don't
lot. There's a
can't
couple
do it.
things. I don't eat it like I don't people who eat at every restaurant. Oh, this is good. No, I don't like everybody's cooking. I don't like everybody's. I don't eat a lot anyway. I'm a cooker. I cook.
Yeah.
My kids will tell you if I buy too much takeout, they look at me like I'm crazy. Ma, you ain't cooked all week.
Mm.
I am a Jackson, Mary Jackson's granddaughter. I
Oh,
have
that's
been taught to
good.
cook home cooked meals for my kids. I don't eat a lot of takeout. First of all, period. I don't eat like cook. My kids may get takeout. Fridays is really our takeout day. During the week, Jazz, I come home. I'm cooking. I cook
Mhm.
when I get home from work. I'll cook to, like for a couple days, but I cook. I don't like a lot of takeout. Like they're like, "What you want to eat?" I'm gonna order. I don't know because I don't go a lot of places. And
Listen.
let me tell you, the takeout I do is Chipotle. I do a little McDonald's. I do a little Burger King, a little Chinese pizza. That's the most of my takeout. And if I'm in the city, I like city like they have more like Thai food.
Mhm.
I like a noodle spot, but I ain't really found out now here. I love a little ramen, like a authentic
Mhm.
ramen.
Yeah.
But that's here. That's few and far between. I'm not a big takeout. I don't like everybody's food.
Nah, but that's real though. But that's so real. That is very real. But I want all of us. This is the thing for me.
Hmm.
People call me now and ask me like my opinion about thing or like like how would you go about dealing with this issue internally,
Hmm.
like from a natural perspective, and I share and things
Hmm.
like that. So, but I'm trying to I'm learning to say less. And it's like, don't ask me if you don't want my opinion, but I'm not gonna offer. I'm just gonna be quiet. Do what you do. But I do have I'm very aware. I always want to help people, and I'm just like, remember the day when you was making the cocktail, and I was like, well, you got any blueberries in there? You got any? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always kind of, but it's not like I don't want it to ever come up I'm judging, but it's like, hey, like you could make this in your house with
naturally, because I said I don't have a taste, so I wanted to drink that night. He said I don't have a taste. He was like, do you have any fresh fruit? Do you have any blueberries? Do you have any honey? I was like, oh. Do you have any lemon juice? I thought I never thought about that, right? But like it's and like we talked about, you have a way more healthy approach to things than I do. And most people I know I have some friends who don't do salad dressing and they don't do this and the other. I just never took that stuff serious. And because again, I didn't really have, we never, like you and I, we never had any health issues, like besides the PCOS and like stuff like, but like high cholesterol, diabetes. I never had those issues. I never took medication. Only took medication, like pain medication after my 2 childbirth and like my surgery. And even that, I never finished a prescription of painkillers. Any high dosage medicine, I never completed my prescription. But when I had this weight loss surgery, I knew that I didn't want to be a part of that conversation. I knew I didn't want to answer a bunch of questions. I didn't want to hear nothing. And what you do, honestly, do you want to be real? Besides the surgery, I'm doing the same thing everybody else says to lose weight. You gotta watch your intake. You gotta read the labels. You gotta see the fat. You gotta see the caloric. You have to plan out your protein. You know, the way I plan out my protein, I know like to get my, I
be like,
my protein in.
I gotta get my protein in today.
Right. Like it's a lifestyle. And like you have to educate yourself. I can't, just like you said, I want to help people, but you have to educate yourself. Whether you do a weight loss surgery or whether you do it the natural way. I'm talking about that too, because I can't stand the natural weight loss police. Just say you lost weight. You don't have to take a shot. I mean, I guess it's a badge of honor. I did it the natural way. Okay, boo-boo. Congratulations. Okay. I'm glad that worked out for you. But I laid on the table. Okay. And I let them cut into my stuff. Like I don't feel, I know I'm just a little hypersensitive to that. I just don't like.
No, I get it.
I did it the natural. I still gotta eat food like you do. No, I can still put this weight on like you eat. I don't know.
I get it. You know, it's interesting though. I mean, we both have like totally different experiences. Like the idea of me having surgery now and like medication and stuff like that freaks me out, because I do feel like most of my health conditions are because of my experiences with the medical.
Do you think your fears, people are going to think you're going to judge you, or what are you afraid of? I just want to ask, like, what is your concerns?
No, it's not about judging people. Like, people judge me now at this size, but it's just that based on the research that I've done and the things that I've seen my body do naturally with like minimal changes and like research, and it's only been like 3 years.
Yeah.
And because I have so many hormonal problems and I've had like so many inflammation problems, the idea of having a surgical procedure is just not something I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because my body responds to inflammation, to anesthesia, to all of these different things.
Those are things
in a very different way.
Yeah. That's very sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
That I will have the success that everybody that most people have. I feel like a lot of times with me, I'm a part of like the 20%, like 20% of the people, like 20% of the people have this type of reaction. You know what I'm saying? And like me being plus size and me being curvy isn't the issue. The main issue for me is the inflammation and the uncontrollable weight gain, right? Me, like in the end of 2023, I was fine. I felt good in my body. I'm working out. I'm doing yoga. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm wearing like a size like 16, 18. I'm comfortable. I'm enjoying my curves. I like my curves. I'm be honest with you. What?
I want to go back to something. We were talking about White Castle. What was anything else?
About okay, wait. Yes.
Sorry, we gotta go back to this.
No, I didn't forget. I gotta know.
Okay. We got sidetracked. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, I feel you.
No, with the surgery thing, it's just like that's not for me. Like I'm very clear. Like that's not a part of my journey. Me and God and these nutritionists, we're gonna figure out what's metabolically wrong, and we're gonna heal this. This
Okay.
is time to like wrap this up. And yeah, it's just like I'm like everything I've ever done medically, it never works out for me. Well,
Okay. So yes, and I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask this just because we have audience here. Would you
go
ever
ahead.
try the new trend of the weight loss medication?
Hell no. And that's not a
Okay.
judgment. And I'm gonna
No,
tell
it's
you why.
not. And I'm gonna
And I'm
tell
gonna
you
tell
why too, because you know my experience, so we can tell
Yes,
you.
and I'm gonna tell you why. Because also the 20% of people, and there are women who are having issues with their hormone cycles. There are women who's having side effects and issues with their fertility. I know at least 4 people who wind up in the emergency room with high
Low
you know
blood sugar.
low blood sugar, like,
Yeah.
so there's so many different things. And I'm not saying that all those things are going to happen for me. What I'm saying is that I'm not willing to take that risk.
And I
And,
co-sign that. And so
and
to your point, because weight loss surgery is not an easy fix and you can regain weight. Hi, my name is Kiosha. I had weight loss surgery in April 2022 and I gained 30 pounds from 2023 to 2024. I gained 30 pounds and I was mad at myself. I was in a new relationship, weight. We sit in the house, eating takeout, ordering cookies, having pizza. He's ordering me a 20-piece all flats lemon pepper wing coming to his house. I'm like, he loved me. He feeding me. 30 pounds later, what are we doing here?
yeah.
And I was like, and I'm trying to get back. I couldn't get myself back into the mindset of the protein shakes. Couldn't get it. Wasn't happening. Wasn't losing. I lose 2 pounds, regain it. What's happening? Then I had a friend who was like, girl, I'm on Wegovy. Go to this app. I was like, let me just do to drop a quick 20 pounds. Let me see how this go. Now, I did drop the 20 pounds, but it almost took me out of here. Literally almost killed me. I was on the phone with Jasmine in September and said, I don't feel right. Now, I'm going to go back. When I first got it, I'm also sensitive to medications. I don't take medication. I know I'm sensitive. When I first got it, I said, oh, I'm a little lightheaded. It's natural, right? A little nausea. Okay, just my body adjusting to it. Then in May, I was at a day party with my girlfriend. Now, I know my threshold when it comes to drinking. If I take a little edible, I know how to manage the things that I do. I was at a day party and had a dizzy spell so bad I couldn't even catch. It was like I've never felt this way in my life. I was trying to gain my footing. It felt like I was like my foot was going, but like my foot wasn't touching the ground. And I was like, couldn't find, and I had a dizzy spell. I sat down, and my girlfriend was like, "You're leaving. You're leaving now." I don't know what that was. And we've been out plenty of times. We drank together. We've been at parties. I never had that. Left, went to my friend's house, slept it off. And they was, I think, you downplaying. They're like, it's just a little this. I don't know. Maybe it was just combination of the heat, this, that, and the other. Cool. Fast forward to September. I was on the phone. I said, Jazz, I don't feel right. So I don't know what this is, but I'm having this dizziness. It just don't. I never had this feeling before. I said, I'm going to go to urgent care. I was in the city. I said something, and I left work about an hour early, went to urgent care, and they tested me for a stroke because I was like tingling in my arms, just my body wasn't feeling right. And again, I never had diabetes or anything like that. My blood sugar had dropped dangerously low. They rushed me to the ER in the ambulance. First time ever in the ambulance, rushed me to the ER. My blood sugar would not regulate. They gave me food. They gave me orange juice. It kept dropping down to like 50 something. And the doctor said, do you know if you would have went home and went to sleep, there's a strong possibility you would not have woken up? He said, I can't let you leave this hospital knowing that your blood sugar has not regulated. I spent the night, first of all, in Bellevue.
Yo, I called Tashawn. I was like, what is happening? She was like, what?
There was the closest hospital they thought was having a stroke. So they had to get me to the closest hospital, was Bellevue. If I knew, I always heard Bellevue was like where the folks that's a little off go. I ain't gonna say no derogatory terms. The folks that got a little extra love in their minds. I didn't know they'd have their own precinct in Bellevue.
It was very scary.
But I didn't. It's still to this day. It really hit me the day we talked about it. How real that moment was. I could have been out of here. I could have went up to people like, "What happened to Kiki?" I don't know. She died in her sleep because my blood sugar was so low. My blood pressure and sugar was so low. They was like, they did every test until a doctor had a black female doctor come in. She said, "You want Wegovy?" She said, that's one of the side effects they don't really talk about. She said, I have a lot of friends who are also physicians that don't really admit to this, but they also suffer from low sugar. But because their doctors didn't know to test it, I said, is it worth the trade-off? Is that trade-off worth it to have to now get a glucose monitor to check my blood sugar to see if it's too low? I never tested my blood a day in my life. So to take a shot, and no shade to anybody who does it. If it works for you and you don't get no side effects, do you. But for me, it wasn't worth the risk. Now, I did lose 20 pounds, but since then, honey girl, she got her shake. She got it together. That was a scare. But let me tell you something. Y'all could have very easily, and I don't take that lightly, but it really didn't hit me how serious it really was. I could have been out of here.
And I told her I would have came and kicked her ass.
How you gonna?
And I said, "I'm kick her ass if I'm dead." I said, "I don't know, but we would have had a problem."
So I said,
"You would not have been peace. You would not have been at peace.
This is the first time you've been quiet." I said, because you told me if I'd have passed away, you would have kicked my ass. And so I'm literally, God help me. But how you gonna beat me up and I'm already gone? You gonna hit me in the gas?
Like, you wouldn't have been able to rest. You wouldn't have been at peace. They would have been like, Kiki's at peace. And I'm like, no, the hell she ain't. Because I ain't done. No, she ain't at peace. I'm telling y'all now, she ain't at peace. Because we gonna have a time. We gonna tussle a little bit.
Come here. Let me talk to you for a second.
Listen. No, but it's real though. Because
no, I'm not. It's real. No. All serial jokes aside.
About your experience.
Yeah.
A week later, a family member had the same experience. A week later, no, 2 weeks later, somebody else I know had the same experience. Then during the holidays, I had some family friends over, and it's a husband and wife, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, he been feeling this, he been feeling that," and I was like, "What Courtney said?
Resurrection in modern times. You to pull me back. Come on,
come here. Let me
roll the stone away."
And then so we here on Thanksgiving, and he's like, he ain't been feeling good, whatever. And I'm like, aren't you on medication for, but he has diabetes too. So I was like, you got to stay hydrated. And see, that's what happens with me. So it's like, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of research. Listen, sometimes I be in here sick, body hurting, and I'm like, oh shit, I ain't had water in like 4 hours.
You gotta drink water. Is the key
right?
Of
so
life.
Like,
you have to drink water.
I was like, you gotta stay hydrated. I was like, and get some coconut water because it's effective and it's quick. Eat some cucumbers, get some watermelon. You gotta
it suppresses your appetite so much that you'll forget to eat or even drink. Like I was on it I was May through September. I was on it. I was on Wegovy, and it suppresses your appetite so much you'll forget to even eat or drink. And I already told you I don't like water.
Yeah, she don't.
I'm not a big water drink.
Yeah.
I have to put like my one. Well, it was after my surgery. I could something about the taste of water changed my the surgery changed my taste buds, and water was just nasty to me. And why I had to start. I never drank flavored water. I was never big on Crystal Light, but I had to add a flavor to my water after my surgery to be able to consume water. Now it's a little better. Like I'm sitting here drinking water now, and I'm on I'm on a fast, so it's kind of helped my intake. But you have to. If you're going to do any type of weight loss drug, hydrate, and you have to work out because you lose muscle mass. You have to. If you're going to do it, you don't have any side effects. I'm not judging anybody. I'm talking about my experience. Again, I've had weight loss surgery and I've had my share. I've tried out weight loss drugs. You have to hydrate. You have to get your protein in. You have to prioritize your protein. And yes, everybody's different. And I'm glad it's working. For like I said, I don't judge nobody's experience. I'm just telling about mine. But if you're gonna do it, you have to stay hydrated. Prioritize your protein intake, even if it's through shakes, proteins, drinks, and things like that.
And that's one of the things that's fearful for me because I already have a suppressed appetite. So one of the things, like if you have like a magnesium deficiency, one of the side effects is a suppressed appetite, right? Having thyroid conditions is one of the side effects is having like a suppressed appetite. So one of my issues with my metabolism, I know it's a nutrient thing. It's not food. It's not the food that I'm eating is my problem. It's my nutrients. So I'm trying to figure out what am I deficient in and how do I replace it so that my body is doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So imagine me taking something like that suppresses my appetite more. Even more. I know it's not going to yield what I needed to yield in terms of my overall health. Now, I might go a lot of time without eating or whatever the case may be. And a lot of weight might just drop off. But for me, at what cost? I live alone. I'm a single woman. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't, like I can't take.
You can't afford having these spells or getting, all that stuff.
Girl, yesterday I was eating a chip and a piece of chip got stuck in my throat, and I said, "The devil is alive."
Wait,
I'm not gonna sit here and die because I got a potato chip stuck in my damn
take
throat.
Me out on a chip. Listen here, and me and her talk about we almost both of us had these moments of slipping, like
No. Listen, that is like one of my things. Like, I'm not going to die in this house alone. Well, first of all, I know if y'all don't hear from me for a couple hours, y'all going to do a wellness check. Because I talk to my friends and my family on a consistent basis. My mother calls me 4 or 5 times a day. If I don't answer at least 2 of those calls, she putting out an APB. She calling my aunt and my brother, and they like, I need y'all to do a wellness check because she ain't been answering her phone all day. Right. So I'm not worried about nobody not finding me. I don't want to be in here incapacitated.
Yeah, it's real.
I don't want that. I don't want to knowingly put myself in a situation that I don't know if I can handle.
No, that's real.
That's real.
But going back to what you're saying, it's important, whatever option, whether it's natural, with I call it assisted, because it's still natural.
So let's unpack this whole natural thing, right? So let's try to, like, for you and I, right, in this conversation, let's create a safe space for people, right?
Yes.
So
it's all natural. I call it assisted.
It's me finding out what nutrients I can use to make my body do what it's supposed to do naturally. Because my body is not doing what it's supposed to do naturally. Everything I use, from my aminos from Purium, my chlorella from Purium, it's a company creating a product that I'm using. It is a supplement. Is it a medication? No, but I'm taking something that's going to help me do something else. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's assisted. It's just not a medical procedure. So I don't know. Like, I'm on the fence with this whole idea of like doing it naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm using natural things that come
products. When people say natural, they're saying they're doing natural by diet and exercise without assistance of a tool, either whether surgery.
Then shit. Then this ain't natural because I got tools. I got tools upon tools upon
all of it is tools. Working out is a tool. Exercise program is a tool. A diet program is a tool. They're all tools. So just say this is what you did to lose your weight. I don't think you have to shame someone to say you achieved your goal. Whatever you do to reach your goal, congratulations. We are so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. But I just ask you to reconsider this badge of honor of I did it naturally. Because here's the thing, even with this tool of a weight loss surgery, I still gotta take my supplements. I still have to understand I have to take collagen to strengthen my hair, because you know weight loss can cause these things, can cause your hair to thin out. Take collagen. I know my body more since my weight loss surgery and how to take the certain supplements and understand what my body should eat. I eat healthier because I educated myself. So again, even with the tool of a surgery, you still have to eat the right foods.
Yeah, you
still have to work out consistently. Yeah. It's not a fix. And don't think because you taking whatever you using that your body's going to snap back. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work. You know what I'm saying? So figure out what tools work for you. Figure out what works for your toolbox. And and I ain't gonna front. Like, sometimes I'll be saying to myself, like, you love to take the road less traveled, Jasmine. You love a good struggle. You love a road less traveled. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel like that. But then I do realize that, like, I've had women in my inbox. Like people have been asking me to share my story for so long. I have had so many women in my inbox like, well, what do you take for this? And how, like, your skin is so clear, or you know what I mean? Like you know, like you look healthy, even though you're heavy. You know, like I've had so many women ask me,
That's
how do I,
so crazy.
like, yo, like people have asked me so many things because most people with PCOS have extreme acne. They get like a lot of facial hair. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of them lose their edges. A lot of like, but the things that I put in my body
combat those
those
to
things.
your point, I remember when I went to Paris after my surgery for a work trip. I packed enough vitamins for my trip. I never prioritized. You would think I was on medication. I had the medical strip boxes. I had my multi, my iron, my hair, skin, and nails. Like I had my packs of protein. Like, yo,
you see that?
I'm a supplement. Yes, I'm a supplement.
That's
my stuff. Yo, like I really prioritize my supplements. It's not a game.
It's not a game. It's really
not a game. And that's why I said again, going back to whatever thing you use, you have to prioritize your health and your relationship with food. No matter what tool you use, if you do not educate yourself on and unpacking why you emotionally eat, why we gained weight in the first place, whatever it is, if you don't unpack these things, no matter what tool you use, you will regain that weight right back. And this is my thing. I don't hold nobody's hand. If you make the commitment to get a weight loss surgery and you don't read your manual, because every surgeon gives you a manual. Do not call me. Do not call me.
I just imagine somebody calling you and you're like, did you read the manual?
Did you read the manual? What your surgeon said? Because every surgeon has their own plan and they have their own book. And I have mine downloaded to my phone, and everything I would be in the supermarket in the lane like this on my phone, look at the manual. Don't call me. Don't call me. What your surgeon said. I'm not the surgeon. They gave you a book. Read the book. Like they said about read your word. What did the word say? Don't piss me off. I can't stand laziness. That's lazy. Sorry.
No, but I'm just imagining somebody call you who had like a
how you want to commit to getting a major surgery and then not educate yourself on how to navigate after said surgery? It makes no sense to me. Asinine.
A lot of Kiki, that is judgmental.
Ouch. This time we listen and we judge. How you commit to getting your stomach sliced in half?
I agree
out of a small incision in your stomach, and you asking me what to do.
Yo, remember
first of all, piss me off.
Yo, tell you something. If you got a manual, don't ask her until you read it. Do you remember last week? Yo, I brought this selfie stick, and I didn't have time to read the manual because I got it right the day before I took the trip, and I forgot to bring it. Girl, the way she looked at me, because I asked Manny to help me figure it out. She said, well, it didn't come with a manual. I said, it did, but I didn't read it yet. She was like,
so you bought something and didn't read the manual, got this thing flinging all over the place, and gonna ask me to help you. You didn't even read the manual to understand how it worked. Do you have the remote control? I don't know. I said, so
she's a trained paralegal. She's a legal professional.
Reading is fundamental. Read the book.
That shit.
That's like getting in the car and not reading the manual, trying to find where the spark plugs up, and you just gonna start opening up stuff. The book is there. Read the book.
That's
just foolishness.
That's the Kiki.
Got me riled up.
The Kiki that I talk to her. Don't listen. So now y'all know. Y'all want assistance? Make sure
now if you said, Key, I done read page 7 and it said, but I ain't getting it. Okay, I could. Let's read it together. Let's see what it says. Okay. It says you need a scale. Did you get a scale? No. So, did you prepare? It said you need a scale. It said, look.
Wait, I can see you now. Do you have a tablespoon? Do you have
measuring cups?
You have measuring cups? I can see it.
Did you get the scale? So what are we talking about? how do you decide to get a major surgery and don't get the tools for success? Huh? It don't make no sense. You don't want it bad enough. I gotta tell Manny, Ma, you don't. Manny like, Ma, I'm like, you don't want it bad enough. If you want it bad enough, you prepare. Preparation is key. The key to success.
And
now,
she's
I'm not perfect in every. Yes, Now I'm not perfect in every way. You know, we all have our shortcomings. But when you're making a major life decision, like when you get pregnant, you're gonna buy diapers. You're gonna do all the things, prepare for the arrival of the child. Baby, you're gonna have all the things. You're gonna baby shower. People gonna help you. If you're getting your stomach sliced in half,
read the
you want to read the book. Go to your doctor, call your doctor. They have helplines, they have communities for you. I'm not it. I got my own journey I'm on. I can't help you. Now, if you still getting through it, you still need a little help, or girl, it's a lot, I need a little emotional support, I'm here for you. But I'm not holding your hand through something that there's education and resources available to you as it was for me. Not doing it.
Okay, so
sorry.
There you have it. Don't call Kiki if you got a manual and you ain't read it. Call her after you read the instructions in the manual. Right. Don't call her
afterwards. Before. Don't come to New York with no
selfie stick. She'll walk you through it, but don't call her before you know the details and the information.
Try first.
Listen, that tripod tried to take me out today, but that's a whole other conversation.
That thing is got a smile of its own.
Last weekend, one of my really good friends from childhood, he opened up a lounge in Brooklyn.
I passed by there today.
Yeah, it's called the Green Room. You went today?
I passed by. It wasn't open yet. I was on Rogers.
Yeah. So he opened up this really dope spot called the Green Room. It used to be the Inkwell back in the day. So he knew I was coming for work and he planned something really special for me and I was really appreciative. It was really dope. But anyway, so we was there. We was having some libations. We also drank a lot of water.
A lot of water.
We drank a lot of water. We was there for quite a few hours. And on the road back to the island
of Long.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't know if it was appropriate because you know how you are about on Long Island. Kiki was like, no, I was like, I'm hungry. And she was like, well, you know, it's Sunday now. Ain't nothing open. I was like, oh, you're right. She was like, you want some White Castle? I was like, hell no, I want no White Castle. She was like, I'm telling you, this one is pretty good.
And White Castle, everybody know from Long Island, late night spot, 2:00 in the morning after some libations, a fresh White Castle or White Castle with cheese, some clam strips. Go ahead. She ain't know. I had to put on.
I ain't know because I don't eat fast food like that no more. Like I haven't been in McDonald's, White Castles, and I don't know how long now. I haven't had a Wendy's staple. I've had a Wendy's sandwich, you know, like once or twice in the last few years. I have a craving for Chick-fil-A once or twice a year. But baby, them onion rings and them fries, Kiki spent. It was like a $30 order, and the bag was there, and we were just snacking. Now I didn't have no clam strips, but I had some French fries. I had some onion rings. I had a chicken sandwich.
But it was fresh too. It was hot. And it was
hot. Now the person who was taking the order, they was a little bit of an a-hole, but the food was fresh.
On point.
And I was like, I don't know that tastes like this.
So Courtney said the one in Comac. We went to one in Farmingdale on 110. Now the original, when I used to go back to the days, the one in front of Sunrise Mall in Massapequa, that was the original spot. I had my aunt Shirley used to work in that one. So she's like, hey niece. I'm like, hey auntie. We get to
she's a hook special.
You up. Yeah. But now we go to the one like King was saying with the walk-up window on 110 in Farmingdale.
Yeah.
My God. He was a little wait to listen.
Them fries and them onion rings.
You get a fresh batch of fries. Oh, and then mozzarella sticks and a White Castle with cheese. Oh, you had the mozzarella, the pull on them.
So listen, the order only had 3. We was like, that's an odd number. I was like, girl, we gonna have to split the last one. Cause
we ain't eating no way, but it was so good and it hit the spot. Oh,
it was perfect. It was a great meal to the end of the night, and you know, and
that milkshake.
I sat up for about 30 minutes to let it digest. You know, drank some more water. You know, let my body do what it needed to do. And I got up, and I wasn't sick the next day.
No.
I took my supplements, and I was fine. I ain't got
I
nothing
don't
to
eat
do.
White Castle often, but every once in a while, she said she could come. Every once in a while on a late night, you need a White Castle stop. It does the
Listen,
body
White Castle
good.
ain't
It's
never
a
done
good
that for me.
combo.
Like now, back in the day when I used to be in, be out partying, McDonald's, maybe Wendy's. White
Nah.
Castle ain't never did for me what
What it
it
did for
did.
you that night? Oh
Never.
well.
Listen, and they got a White Castle right here on the strip. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
old Vegas and Fremont, and that
Mm-hmm.
line be long. I be like, why they in there? Like, why is it always
Cause
so long?
baby, you see why I be so long. That late night soak that stuff up at night, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well,
Sit up
I don't
all
go out.
over.
I don't go out enough to eat White
Well,
Castle.
listen, first of all, at this point in our game, we a little seasoned. We ain't going out. Like the
Yeah,
fact that I think a couple times I realized I was like, I agreed to go out after 7 o'clock at
you
9 o'clock. Like even this one that it opens up late. White Castle's real special. It's a special place. Listen.
did.
Woo.
And like you didn't get to the place until like 9 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because me and
Yeah.
Keelan got there like 7:30. You pulled up like 9.
Remember, I had a long day again. I remember I had went to go
Yeah,
Disney on
I
Ice,
told her,
came
yeah, you
home.
be doing a lot on
I've been doing a
Sunday.
lot.
You be doing a lot on
Saturday
the
and Sunday.
weekend.
That was Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
You know,
Yeah,
but
and we ain't leave there what till like 2, quarter to 2. Like,
2. That's the only spot to go
yeah.
to because when it's
Listen,
closed
I'm
at
gonna
two
tell you
o'clock,
something. That's gonna be
only
my
place
new
open
spot
is White Castle.
when I'm in Brooklyn.
Hmm?
That's gonna be my spot. That's gonna be my spot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Green Room.
I might do a little run.
Okay.
I'm turning
Yes.
45 in this summer. I might do a little, you know what I'm saying? I
So,
might do a
so
little
if you ever find yourself in Brooklyn, is that flat? What part of Brooklyn is that considered? Is that
That's
Flatbush?
like Crown Heights, Flatbush,
Crown
little
Heights
boudoir.
on Rogers. It's called the Green Room, a very, very
Really nice.
nice
Yeah.
live music venue. It's called
Yeah.
Sliders. Yes,
One of my
it's
good
called
friends.
the Green Room on Rogers Avenue. It's a black-owned business. They
Yeah.
have great live music, great drinks, great food. It's a smaller spot, but if you ever find yourself in the Crown Heights Flatbush area, look up the Green Room. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. The owners are amazing. They treat us very well. I'm definitely gonna go back myself.
Yeah, and when you go, tell them that Jasmine sent you. That's
Yeah.
all. You know what I'm saying? Tell them Jasmine sent you. That's the homie. You know, it's a
Yeah.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm really thinking. I was like, do I want to? It's 45. Like an important birthday that I should celebrate. Like really do a little.
I think that's a 45's a good like midpoint. I'm not mad at a 45th birthday, like
Yeah,
the halfway point. You know, do a
yeah.
little something.
I'm
I
going
ain't
on
mad
a
at that.
cruise in July. I'm planning a cruise. I'm curating my first cruise. You know, it's I'll talk about that another time. But yeah,
Curating.
I'm I'm a producer. I direct and
Vaughn,
produce.
what year were you born in? We were born the same years. How old are you, Vaughn? Vaughn, that's real New York to say it like that, ain't it?
But yeah,
Somebody said since COVID, every birthday is special. Listen, you gotta celebrate living your life
that's so
like it's
true.
golden. So yeah,
So true. That is very true.
Very true.
So okay, so
1980. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a 1980 baby. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a little younger than y'all.
Brookville Hospital
I'm a little
in East
younger.
New
Y'all a
York.
little East New York.
East New York. You know what I'm saying?
Brooklyn. I have a love for Brooklyn, an affinity for Brooklyn because my mother thought it was she just wanted to make sure I got some culture. So every summer she sent me to Bed-Stuy. Now in the 90s, it's a little tricky, and it's not the current day Bed-Stuy. It's the 90s Bed-Stuy.
So you got the real Bed-Stuy.
I really did. You
got
yes.
Brooklyn.
Woo!
All Brooklyn is the best Brooklyn in terms
That's when you get cultured.
And when you get cultured and you learn some life skills, you know what I'm saying?
Child, you learn how to duck and dive.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? New Brooklyn is a little safer, but you know, old Brooklyn.
The old Brooklyn.
You survived old Brooklyn. You all
barely.
Right.
For first of all, my first incident, we had to walk past the projects because our aunt lived on Bedford Ave, so we had to walk past the projects to get to the breakfast in the morning. Mm-hmm. And my first time I saw somebody get mugged, and my cousins will always laugh at me because I was like a straight like fish out of water in Brooklyn. I'm from Long Island, right? And they all do send me Brooklyn every summer. So the first time there was a mugging, I was like, oh, right. Then the shootout happened. They teased me because I froze, and they was like, duck, and they had to pull me in the bodega. I'm like, I'm not used to this life, right?
But
and
my
then
first judgment, because you said mugged, we said we got robbed. But
okay, again.
You from
got
Long
here.
Island?
I'm from Long Island. And I remember, this is how you know I was ready to go home. They lived, and my cousin, you know, my aunt had an apartment, so they had to make, everybody got in where they fit in with the cousins, right? So I remember laying there, and with this I was overstimulated by all the noises. It was people in the hallway, sirens. I'm used to Long Island. You wake up, there's crickets. You hear crickets in the morning. You don't hear music and sirens and people. I just laying in the bed like, I just want to go home.
But look
as
at
I
you
grew
now.
up,
Look at you now.
man, I'm a Brooklynite.
Listen, all right, relax.
I'll,
ain't, not
excuse
yet.
me.
You on your way, but you're not there yet.
I'm Brooklynite by association. I spent every summer in Brooklyn in my childhood. I dated a Brooklyn guy.
We'll give it to you.
Are Long Island folks an extension of Queens and Brooklyn? Now, no. If you ask me about from Queens or Brooklyn, we're not the same.
No.
Now, I want to just make this very clear that there is no water separating. We're all on the same piece of land. However, there are borders. So we're going to respect the borders, but we're on the same piece of land.
So if that's the case, then technically you're not a Brooklynite. So
no, I said by association. I'm a Brooklynite by association. I have a love and affinity for Brooklyn.
Did you get the certification from the association? I haven't seen said certification, but we'll talk about that later. Look at her face.
Who's said association? Who is they?
Who
is gay?
It's a private organization. But we'll talk.
Okay, I'll call my Brooklyn representatives to the forefront when it's time to have this committee meeting. Because both I stay with the American family and the Haitian family, so listen, I got on both sides. I stay with my grandmother
when I can,
and my cousins. So I did a little brown because the Haitians was over there. I think my grandma lived in like Flatbush with the Haitians, and then I was over there in Bed-Stuy. I got a little bit of everything. Okay, and my aunt taught me how to walk the streets. Keep your head, you look straight, don't look in the. I got the training 101. My aunt taught me how to walk the streets of Brooklyn. Okay. Oh, God, let's be very clear.
Okay.
So my kids know how to conduct themselves in these streets because my aunt Cleo, a Brooklyn native, taught me how to operate. And I remember being a little girl walking down the street in Brooklyn, like keep straight, don't it? And she trained me. I got 101. That's why that's why. And you notice a lot of my friends are from the boroughs because I was raised and taught how to operate.
Kiki is definitely. She definitely got a little Brooklyn.
It's okay. All right, I got a little bit. I don't claim Brooklyn, but I just have an affinity for Brooklyn.
I was being modest.
Listen, I'm a proud Long Islander. I have no problems repping Long Island. I always affirm that I have affinity for Brooklyn. I do desire to live in Brooklyn. I do desire to have a brownstone. My dream life is to be married and have a brownstone with my family in Brooklyn. If you want to know,
that is so cute.
It is.
I think that's beautiful. Yeah.
Hey, from Houston. Hey, Shonda.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I don't see myself in Brooklyn and any other stages of my life, but I think that would be dope for you. I think that I could definitely see you as like on like one of the like style digests, like people visiting your house.
Like, chic Brooklyn. It's chic Brooklyn.
Like welcome to my Brooklyn, brownstone. Brownstone, and I can also see an elevator in your life. Like I see it. I feel all of that for you. Like
I receive it.
I can see it. I can see you with a 4-story brownstone with a little elevator situation, dope
chandelier.
Chandelier. And when I come to New York, Kiki, I just need a guest room for a couple nights so I can visit.
That's okay.
I'm out. Yeah, but I can definitely see it. Like, people be asking me, do I want
to the old Brooklyn, you can't be, the old Brooklyn's a little different, Courtney, because Courtney's from Brooklyn too, so she's Brooklyn native as well. What part of
Brooklyn you from, Courtney?
What part of Brooklyn you from, Court?
Kiki said absolutely not. I mean, Jasmine said absolutely not. I don't know which
about
part.
What.
I don't know which part. She got Jasmine absolutely not to which part. She from Harlem, so it's probably her being being.
She's from Flatbush.
Oh, Courtney from Flatbush. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I
also like Harlem too. I wouldn't mind doing a Harlem.
Let me tell you something. Harlem is the only Brooklyn, New York, of the 5 borough. Like, even though I know it's not a borough.
Nostrand and Roger. Oh, she right. She in Flatbush.
So like my family is from Sterling. So my family is from Sterling in New York. My father's family. But I grew up between East New York and Brownsville. Like most of my formative years, I was in Brownsville or like off of Pickens.
She said, Okay, because some of these Brooklyn names I can't. Is it Fenimore?
Oh, Fenimore?
Fenimore?
Yeah.
Fenimore.
Oh,
See, that's the one.
I know some
Fenimore,
people over there that
Nostrand,
live over there right now.
Rockville.
We talk about that offline, Kiki. I know some folks that live over there on Fenimore
Which
right now.
Sterling? She said. Which
Still
Sterling?
in place.
Sterling Place. See, this is
Yeah.
Brooklyn talking. See, I don't even
Yeah.
know when they ask that question.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
I like, upon working, I like Kensington.
I bet you do. Anyway,
That's part of Brooklyn.
like nobody just say the other side of the end of Flatbush. Nobody don't call it Kensington. People,
Okay.
they don't know what you're talking about.
What is it called?
Yeah, Kensington is like the end of Flatbush. It's like
Cute.
over there,
End of
like
Flatbush. Oh, by
near
Court
the
LU
ocean,
and
like
Ocean.
Ocean
It's
Parkway.
cute. It's between the Q and the F. It's cute.
Yeah, it's like the
Look
end
at
of
me
Flatbush.
knowing the train lines. Like I know so.
That's hilarious. That's funny. But yeah, like
Anyway, it's cute.
I miss certain things about Brooklyn when I go home. But when I do come home, I could definitely do like a Dumbo type vibe.
Exactly.
Or if my preference is to be in Harlem. I love Harlem. Like I still love Harlem. I don't know, I just love the vibe. And I feel like Harlem, even though like with all the gentrification, Harlem is still super black.
Yes, I did a New Year's. I went to a New Year's party in Harlem one time. It was like they had a live band, like one of them long hallway kind of apartments with the big rooms, and it opened up at the living room. They had a jazz band. It was so. It felt. I was like, oh, this is so good. It was just black. It was just black.
I love it.
Live was a live jazz band in the back of. It was like one of them old school big Harlem apartments. Oh,
I have a lot of success with men in Harlem. I just realized that. One of my, one of my favorites, like one of the relationships that I was in for for a time. We had a great friendship, and like it never, like nothing crazy ever happened. We just went our separate ways because we wanted different things. But yeah, he was from Harlem, and I enjoy. And it's funny because growing up in Brooklyn back then, I never went past 42nd Street, and then I dated someone in Harlem, and it just opened me up to Harlem. And then maybe like a year or two after we broke up, I started working in Harlem. And then one of my best friends lives in Harlem. Like it was crazy how like the trajectory of Harlem kind of like came in my life. And then when I just went home, I stayed in Harlem because that was closest to where I had to go for work. But yeah, I love Harlem.
I've never dated guys from I think Queens was like the first I dated guys from Queens, but I had my first experience with a Brooklyn man. In 2023. I've always loved Brooklyn men from Brooklyn. There's a certain thing about Brooklyn men I've always loved. It's not the thuggable stuff that you like to tease me about. Brooklyn men have a certain je ne sais quoi about them that I love. I also appreciate, I think Harlem men are a little bit more flashier than Brooklyn men.
They are.
But I love that vibe that Brooklyn, even Harlem men give.
Sometimes I miss like New York City.
New York men, New York City men in general. There's a certain.
Don't be honest with you. I dated a dude on Long Island. I never really.
They got a different swag. They got this thing about New York men. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, something about them. You just be like,
you see when and then if they got a good, and New York men know how to get the outerwear, and if they got a good shearling or a good with the heavy collar
listen, with some construction
and some Cartiers on, some nice glasses.
But
and for this we bless you.
Life. But this is one thing that I do.
Say something real inappropriate. Go ahead. just moist.
And you know me, I'm not gonna tell you not to, so I encourage you to be yourself.
I said just
I
moist.
encourage you to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. But I do.
They smell good. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah. Listen, that's not even talking.
Oh, he said don't sleep on Westchester men.
I've never met any. I've never met any. I've never met any men from up there, but no disrespect.
I'm just talking about what I know, speaking on what I know, what I see. I just want to say, this is, Lord forgive me, I go to a church in Brooklyn, and they have a very strong men's ministry. And I just want to say that I really appreciate the men that are in my ministry. I'm not lusting. I just appreciate the handiwork of God. Okay. And one of the things I noticed when I went there, I said, there's a lot of men here. a lot of churches are a lot of heavy. It's heavy on the women population. A lot of strong black men. Now everybody, that love the Lord.
Won't he do it? I
But
told Kiki the next
somebody
time
hugged me and said, "Hey, welcome." I said, "What's your name?" I'm Keisha. How you doing?
I'm gonna come visit next time I come to New York.
Girl.
Because listen, I've always said that I'm willing to live a bi-coastal life. Because I don't think my husband is out here in these Henderson streets that I'm Vegas, Henderson. I don't think he's out there. I could be wrong. I've been wrong about things before.
I believe my husband's in Brooklyn.
But I do believe God is preparing me for a life partner.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's in Brooklyn. He is in Nevada. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mine's is in Brooklyn.
Listen, I love that for you, and I hope he's from Old Brooklyn, because he got some.
I don't want no transplants. I want some. I want a native Brooklynite.
I hope he's from Old Brooklyn. I hope he got some act right. But yeah, I do think I will say that sometimes I feel like the future of my life looks very much bi-coastal. And I don't mind traveling. Like I like jumping on a plane for 4 hours for like a like a red eye. That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'll travel for love. I'll travel. You know what I'm saying? I don't need. I'm telling you, to be honest with you, even at this point in my life, I wouldn't even mind a long distance relationship. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Like in terms of its like inception. No, what I'm saying is like in terms of its inception, like the beginning stages. Because I feel like getting to know a person, spending time, having conversations, making it. Because I feel like if you're in a long distance relationship, for me at this point in my life, you're gonna have to make an effort. You're gonna have to make an effort, and if you can't make an effort on the basics, then we won't get further. But me as a person, like I have access to everything. I work remote. I can work anywhere in the United States. You know what I mean? And I can also work internationally for 30 days. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess my longest distance relationship was literally from Long Island to Brooklyn. That's my first, and that was a lot. I was like, it was adjustment because I'm used to somebody living closer to me, so it was like easier to integrate and see each other more often. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it really takes both people to be intentional to make a long distance. And some people are like, that's not long distance for me. Brooklyn to that's an hour and a half drive. That's long distance. Okay. But both people have to put the effort in to make it. It's about effort and intention and prioritization of each other's time to make it work. Listen, I'm not going to say that I'm not open to long distance further than another state. But again, I think it's very important that both are in a position to give the energy that it takes to be in a long distance relationship, travel, etc. Intention, prioritization, and act right. Can we talk about act right? Yeah, you need to act right.
Act right is very important. So two things I want to tell you. I just realized that this charger that I'm using is not charging. I don't know why. But
for your phone or for your laptop?
My laptop, and I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
No, I'm not rushing it to end, but it's just looking weird.
We're an hour and 47 minutes in.
Yeah, we're about to close. What I wanted to say is this. I think for me, in this stage, in this moment in my life, effort and intention is everything. You could have barriers. You could have things that delay, that cause delay in certain things to move forward. But if I see that you're intentional about me, if I see that you're making an effort, I'll meet you. Because I don't need for somebody to just. I need effort. I want to be made to feel like I matter. I want to be made to feel special. I want to be made to know that you're intentional about your relationship with me. And if you're intentional, there may be financial things that become a strain. But if I say, like, if I met somebody in New York and it's like, listen, my family's from New York. My mom lives in New York. I have places that I can go and be closer to you for longer periods of time. One of the things that I do think, and I feel like we live in a world where everybody wants instant gratification and everybody wants everything to happen right now. A lot of people are not willing to put in like really strong foundational work. And I do personally think it takes at least a year or two to really know the heart of a person. And I don't think distance is going to hide who they are at their core.
No. Eventually it's going to show.
The
Venture's definitely
distance
gonna
is
show.
actually going to show you how much of an effort each person is willing to make. What are
Mhm.
their boundaries? What can they do? What are they, what's the extension? Like, I would
Yeah.
love to have a relationship where I meet somebody and they don't live far from me, even
Yeah.
though I have like anxiety about letting people in my house. But
Well,
that's a
that's
whole
over
other
time. Once you
that's
build trust, that's you
a whole
spend time
other
to this place.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like having a long distance relationship for me in this season of my life is not something I'm afraid of. Like
No.
I would love to get to know somebody with having to not have the pressure of always performance in person, because now you got to find other ways to keep each other connected. We got to
Yeah.
make an effort for this thing. And if a person can't make an effort beyond 3 months, it's just like, okay, well, listen, it was cool.
Yeah. And
You
effort, listen, I think effort goes even with proximity or, like for me, from Long Island to Brooklyn, it takes effort. Um, you can't be lazy with it. You gotta be consistent and
gotta
put
make
forth
an
the
effort.
effort.
You gotta
I
make an
mean,
effort.
right now for me, and when it comes to my dating life, I'm on pause. So I'm in repair mode. So I do
Oh,
look forward to dating again on what that looks like. But right now,
yeah.
I'm good. In this
I,
moment, I'm in repair. I just
yeah.
some things are on pause right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm in repair, but I'm open to meeting new people. I'm open
yeah.
to like I haven't, like when you meet somebody and like the conversation is really stimulating and
Hmm.
it's like you're interested in this person. I haven't
Hmm.
experienced that in a
Yeah.
very long time. So
It's
like that
dope.
part,
Yeah.
like that part. Like I've, like the physical attraction, the lust, all of that. Yeah, I've
But can
done
we
that.
have a conversation? Can we talk?
And
Like,
can we talk about some things? And also, do we align socially, spiritually, and community wise? Like, do we have the same
you know,
community values? Do
I'm
we,
gonna take it as
listen? Do we share in the same community values? Do we share in the same political values? Do we see the world from a similar lens? I don't expect for everything to be in line, but what is your perspective around community? I think that's important. That's important for me.
yeah. In addition
How
to
you,
those things,
yeah, like, do you
what
have a
else
business?
is important to me? Because I mean, I also think opposites can attract. So I have some, there may be
Mhm,
some, I know someone who has different political views than me, but I think they're still a great person, right?
mhm,
But what's even more important to me is your conflict style,
yeah,
because you can be great, you can be a nice person, you can be a
mhm,
really great person, have great community, and have great friendships.
mhm,
But how do you handle conflict?
mm.
How do you handle accountability? That's what I want to know.
How do you handle
Because
conflict?
you could be a really great person. You could present very well in community. You could be a great friend. You could be a great contributor in all the things.
What
But
is
when
your
it gets,
resolve? What is your resolve? Do you have a structure for resolution?
what's your temperament?
What's your temperament? And no, those things are really important because it signals so many other compartments of someone's life. And I'm glad you brought that up
We're gonna say
because
that for the next episode. But
the
go ahead.
next episode, we're actually going to have like a social worker come
Mhm.
on and we're going to talk about
Conflict styles.
conflict style and how do we resolve conflict and how we go about that, like especially as we like go through this life journey, because how you resolve conflict is really important. Also how you address it, how you present conflict, like,
How
hey,
you
this
present
thing
it.
you've done is making me uncomfortable.
Mm.
We're having a conflict,
Let's have a conversation.
but
How do you
can,
present? Because presenting a conflict is key of how it sets the tone to even how the conflict is handled. Because you
yeah,
can say, "Hey, you did this, and it made me feel this way," or you can say, "You, you could
what the,
take it. Why you always attack?
yeah, like what
So
does it look like?
conflict style, because we could align on everything. We can
Hmm.
dream together.
Hmm.
And I can tell you from my own experience, conflict style can put a halt to all of that. All of that. You can have all the things aligned, agree on a lot of things, have some differences, but if you don't know how to have a conflict and manage conflict and find resolve in conflicts and communicate and figure out a way to, because when you're in conflict, you're not fighting each other, you're fighting an issue together.
Yep. Because you're
So
looking
we
for
can't,
resolve.
and at this big age, I'm not fighting with you over the same things over and over again without looking for a way to resolve the matter.
Absolutely.
And if you're not willing to hold yourself accountable and look at yourself rather than playing victim, we cannot have a conversation.
Not at all. Because it don't make no
And
sense.
I had to learn that. It don't make no sense. I used to try to talk to blue in the face, talk to somebody who did not want to see. Well, I'm not gonna judge them, but it felt as though they were not looking for a resolve.
Yeah. And that's real. Because some people just want to.
It chipped away at the relationship.
Yeah. Some people, sometimes in conflict, people, what is it? Some people freeze.
Mm-hmm.
They freeze and they can't move forward.
They get stuck.
And it gets stuck. And I think that that's a real thing. And I'm really excited about the conversation next week.
Yeah.
About what that looks like, right? Because self-awareness and unpacking, like those are the cornerstones of these conversations that we're having, right? Yeah. We're unpacking
from weight gain to body image to
all of those things. We're unpacking these things so other people can chime in and and take tidbits and things like that. Oh, and just to kind of go back, if you go to the Heal with Love pod page on Instagram, we actually have like a couple of like self-awareness activities that you can do to kind of like tap in with yourself. There's some resources there, in the links on our Heal with Love pod page. If you're interested in like doing like a self-assessment around self-awareness and what that looks like for yourself, there's some tools there. I have a background in education, a little something. So, we put something together for you. And like I mean, we could talk about this forever because the conversation we be having be going all day. We be in and out all day.
Yeah.
But you know what? And another thing,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I love a good receipt. Well, listen, this is what I said.
Can I tell you something? God has recently told me to delete the receipts, especially if I want to start afresh and new.
That's beautiful.
I'm letting it go. That's okay. That's not your message.
That's not my message.
That's not message. It's my message. She told me. Now when
he told you.
Yeah. But it's also to protect my peace and to let things go. Because for me, they said, was it ruminate? When you can stay on something? Is that ruminate? Is that the word? I ain't big on definition.
I know yeah.
Right. You sit on something and I'll dwell on it. So for my peace, I have to.
No, I get that.
That's on my iPad, but not on my immediate. It's on my iPad.
Yeah, that's helpful. I get what you mean. So no, when I say receipts, it's like when people talk to me and I'm conversing with people, I'm really listening to understand. Mm-hmm. I'm really listening because I want to know, is there something I can do better? Is there something that I want you to do better? It's like I want to know because I don't want to keep having this conversation. I want to come to a resolve. So I'm listening. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I experience, and one of the things that's like one of my pet peeves is when people like, if I say something and then you respond and then like you say something that was never said. And I'm just like, well, when did that happen? I don't remember that coming up in the conversation. I don't remember that part. So it's like, okay, let me go back. Because sometimes I talk to people and I take notes.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to forget what you said. And I want to honor what your request of me was. But sometimes people say things. So it's like kind of like you paraphrase the conversation and then use this different language. And me, I can't help it. Well, that's not what that word means.
Right.
And then my other pet peeve is like, well, to me, it means, I'm sorry. That's not how language really works. Like context is important, but you can't just change the meaning of a word to suit your particular argument in the moment. And people think I could be an asshole with that sometimes. And I don't mean to be, but that's just how my brain works. You got to tell me the thing.
Some of y'all people that be big on words can be a bit a-hole-ish about definitions. I don't know when I unpack this right now because it's late. But like if I say Jasmine, You're being a bit manipulative in this conflict. You say,
Mm-hmm.
let's look up the word manipulation.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And look up the word manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look it up now.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation means the action of manipulation, something in a skillful manner. The act of manipulation someone in a clever or unscrupulous way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's 2 points in this definition.
Mm-hmm.
And how I approach the definition is like, I'm not saying, well, let me look at the right definition. Because, like, let's find the right word.
I think that's a really good example.
It is, but I want to find the right, because, like, you can say, so I could say, okay, well, yes, the act of manipulation is in a skillful. Let's look at more. In a skillful manner, or the act of manipulation of someone in a clever or unscrupulous way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I had this argument recently about, I feel like someone
Mm-hmm.
was manipulative in the conversation, in a
Mm-hmm.
conflict, and looked at the term, and I was like, well, I'm not saying that you meet all the threshold of the definition, but
Mm-hmm.
some of this you can.
But that's different than what I was saying. I agree with
Right.
you on that.
And
That's
I
different than
also
what
think there's
I agree.
levels of manipulation. But the
I
person in
agree.
which I was having, I was like, no, you said I'm manipulative. I said, no, first of all, what I said was your behavior. You're exhibiting behaviors of manipulation. I didn't call you manipulative. So there's 2 things you gotta be careful of.
100%. I totally
Calling
agree.
someone manipulative or saying you're exhibiting behaviors of manipulation. 2.
Yeah.
3, understand there's levels of a
100%.
said definition.
Because
And it doesn't
manipulation
mean that you could,
and malice,
right.
manipulation doesn't necessarily always mean malice. But if you add malice to the manipulation, that's a different conversation.
Right.
And what I will say is, when you're talking to people, and this is why self-awareness is so important, I have accepted the fact that I can come off arrogant. I have also accepted the fact that people can experience me as being manipulative. Do I mean it to be malicious? No. But conversation, I'm an intellectual. I love words. I love history. I can create a conversation, and I can guide a conversation in a way that I need it to go. That's a part of being a facilitator and an educator in
And
me.
the art of debating is a form of manipulation.
It's a form of manipulation. If you say to me,
here's the goal. Mm-hmm.
if you say to me, and I feel like we've had this conversation personally, and you be like, that was a little manipulative. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're right.
And you said it to me, because here's the goal. Is the goal here, if we're in the art of debating, like I was I did a legal business class, and my goal was to win the trial. I won every mock trial in high school because my goal was to win the argument. So I'm going to manipulate the facts to present them in a way that's going to support my argument. But if you're in a relationship with someone and you're having conflict, your goal is not to win. So therefore, manipulation shouldn't be not a part of your tactic. Our job is to address the problem together, not to win the debate. Exactly. So this is when manipulation is fine when the key is to win a debate. But if you're in friendship or relationship, whether it's intimate or a friendship, our goal is to attack this conflict together in which we're in, and to reach understanding. Manipulative behavior should not be a part of the equation. Because and when someone calls you out on manipulative behavior, you should be open enough to see yourself and hear when someone's saying, this is a bit manipulative.
You need to be self-aware, and you need to take a step back and think about the other person and what they're experiencing from you, right? Because I know I can go. I'm aware. I can go.
I'm going to win the argument. If the goal is to win, I'm going to win.
I tell anybody, I do this for sport. Let's go.
I'm a trained, experienced legal professional. I will win a debate.
Listen,
I've been called loquacious because I can talk.
Listen, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a proud, loquacious woman. I will talk.
Listen.
And it's I will call you out. And I listen. I don't just listen to respond. I listen to hear what you're saying. And if you on some BS, I'm going to call you out on your BS. And I'm going to question what you said. Because if it ain't adding up, I'm going to say. Now, let me tell you something. If I'm with a man and he talking some truth and he checking me, I'm gonna be quiet. If you saying something and you right,
I've been looking for a moment to be quiet.
I want to be quiet.
Somebody quiet me. Quiet my mind and my mouth.
Check
Let
me.
me quiet. Just let me.
You right.
You know what?
You right. I was bugging. You right. I'm doing too much.
There's a
you
beauty. There's a
Mm.
beauty in a man
It's
disarming
sexy.
you. When a
It's
man can
sexy.
disarm you,
It's oof.
ooh,
You
listen.
right.
I don't know if that works for everybody.
But I like to be
When a
disarm
man
me.
can disarm me, you got a special place in my heart. If you can disarm me,
the respect that you get from me, if you can disarm me with honesty and confidence and say, honey, this ain't it. But if you try to run one on me,
nah, I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna call you out.
And
every
then you
time.
get mad because I call you out. Just find somebody else.
Like, nah, bro.
Find somebody else to do it.
Find somebody else to do it now. I tell people all the time, don't try to Rain Man me. You could do all of the things and
like your sister said. What your sister said, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. That's a Tashana line. Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
Use a lot. Use a lot
from the pit of hell. I'm buying that spirit.
No.
And then want to call me and then I'm aggressive. No. Come to me with truth and realness. I will. Okay, you right.
Because listen, one thing, my approach is always going to be kindness. I am always going to approach you with kindness. I'm always going to come at you with some softness. I don't talk crazy to people in the beginning.
But in the beginning,
say it again.
Wait, in the beginning, I don't talk crazy to people.
I don't talk crazy to people in the beginning. But over time, if you keep doing this, and I'm like, wait a minute, you trying to make me think I'm crazy? Now listen, I might have some insecurities, but I know who the hell I am.
Hello.
And nobody's ever going to be able to convince me that I ain't shit. Nobody's ever going to be able to convince me that my brain doesn't work. You're never going to be able to convince me that how I process things is crazy. I'm super logical. And we can even okay, wait, let's create some checks here. Okay, so tell me what I did. This, okay, I apologize. I didn't mean, that's not what I meant. But this thing you're saying here, unfortunately, I didn't know what this was because I was responding to what was presented to me. And maybe my response wasn't the response you were looking for, but maybe your action wasn't the action I was expecting either. So I apologize if my response to you makes you uncomfortable or disrespected you. Either way, I apologize. I take full accountability for my response. But I just need you to know your action made me uncomfortable, and that's how I responded.
So if you want a different response from me, maybe you should reconsider your approach to me. Now, again,
our goal is to be. The other part of that, are you willing to acknowledge? Are you in a space right now where you can acknowledge that action really, that action is what caused
the cause and effect?
I don't want to even say cause. That I was responding to an action. Can you acknowledge that? Now, if you can't acknowledge that, then we can't come to a resolve. Because we have to, both people have to admit that they did something wrong. The role that they played. Yeah, my response was wild. And it might have been a little jarring to you. But I think right. And I'm not saying it's right.
You playing in my face. You playing in my face.
You playing, and I don't like people to play with
and don't throw the rock and hide your hand, and then you sidetracked by my reaction.
Don't throw the rock and then hide your hand.
Don't be passive aggressive. I'm not passive aggressive. So because you're passive aggressive, do some real underhanded stuff, and I hit you, you hit me and hide your hand, and I punch you in your face. Now you a victim? No.
But you know what the crazy thing is
here? You set the tone.
But you know what the crazy thing is? That's hilarious. But you know what the crazy part is? People don't realize that when something bothers you and you don't say anything, but you change your behavior in the moment or with that person, that's passive aggressive.
Very passive.
Because you're doing something for them to notice a difference.
That you're mad. You're gonna get attitude. You're gonna shut down. And so they're saying, "What's wrong with you? Why did your attitude change? Why did your energy change? What's going on?" Rather than saying, "Hey, Like I've done it. Hey, I didn't. What you just
I
did just
remember we
now.
had that conversation. Like, I was like, Key, think about it. That thing was a little passive aggressive. Why not just approach it by telling the person, hey, this made me uncomfortable? Because sometimes, I will say, this is for me. Sometimes my default is to not create a moment of conflict because I don't want to be in conflict because I either don't want you to just walk away or I don't want you to be upset with me. There's a part of me, there's a part of my default. I don't want this to go in the wrong direction. And I'm so used to things going in the wrong direction.
Because people can't
Maybe if
receive
I don't
your
say it,
feedback, it'll
maybe if
get
I
better.
don't say it, it'll get better. But it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Call a thing a thing.
It
What did Rihanna
doesn't.
say? You can't
Call a
deal with
thing a
what you
thing.
and
Right.
call a thing a
So,
thing.
yeah. Hey, listen, you did something. I didn't really care for that. It didn't make me feel comfortable. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'm not sure what took place. Can we apologize if I said something that, that threw you off or why? Okay, let me know. Like you said, what is it? I'll make aware. Then can you, rather than getting attitude with me, can you let me know if you're feeling, or that made me feel away. And let's work through it. And we can move past it. But not communicating and changing your behavior towards someone, it's like, anyway.
Jasmine said, what did Jill say? Jill Scott said,
What she
don't
said?
tell me what you can do. Don't tell me what to do unless you can tell me
what to do.
That's it.
You know what the problem is, Jasmine? Some folks can't tell
me.
themselves. You know what the thing is, Jazz? The other Jazz, Harlem Jazz? People can't tell you what to do because they can't tell themselves what to do because they can't regulate their own emotions. They don't have control of their own emotions. So they can't even tell you what to do because they over there flailing at the arms by their own self. They can't figure it out. So how can they even tell you what to do?
Because they're not self-aware. Like, listen, whenever I am going down a rabbit hole,
I can't wait for next week.
I know. Like, I know when I am on a short fuse.
Oh, I know when I'm popping off. I'm very self-aware.
Like, I be like, yo, Key, I ain't got it for nobody today. I want everybody to leave me alone. I don't want to talk to people. I ain't got it today. But it takes a level. But see, and it's like, it's kind of, I don't want to be unfair. Self-awareness is a health practice. And so many women and men in this society that we live in now, don't take the time to make themselves feel better. Don't take this time to work on themselves. Becoming self-aware. Yes, like self-awareness is a part of wellness. Figure out what's going on in here.
Wholeness, to make yourself whole.
Why you crying in the bathroom? Why you yelling at everybody? Why patience?
Why are you emotionally eating? Why are you eating the wrong foods? Why are you self-medicating? A lot of these things is because we're not sitting with our emotions and our feelings. And it's all, listen, we all do it. It's nothing but it's a practice of learning to sit in and unpack.
Listen.
But some of us don't want to face the reality that some of us got some real issues. And the nerve for someone to call it out and acknowledge or observe your issues. And then you get defensive because you think the facade that you have up ain't got no cracks in it.
Listen, me and my sister talk all the time. She always say, I know my triggers. I know my stuff.
You gotta
know your stuff. You gotta know.
Somebody said to me, you act like you perfect. That never came out of my mouth. If anybody knows me, if anybody knows Kiosha Jack's home, I'm self-aware. I'm very aware of my triggers. I know I have mood swings. I will set boundaries. I know myself, and I have no problem saying.
Right. And before I cuss you out, I'm going to give you a warning.
Hella warnings.
We're getting to a point now where I don't, like, I'm going to give you a perfect example. My neighbors upstairs, they be shaking this damn chandelier. I told you people today, the management, I was like, hey, just take it down. Take it down. Because I'm getting to a point where I feel myself about to get the broom and bang up on this wall. I feel it coming. Like, I feel it in my spirit that I'm getting tired of saying the same thing. So you know what? I don't want to be reactive. I want to be proactive. Take this whole shit down. Take it down. I don't mind the bump, like the bang or whatever. That's human.
But the
But this
chandelier
shit,
shaking.
the
Yeah.
chandelier shaking,
Listen,
take it down right now, because
Jasmine,
if it
like
stay
me,
here,
I will pick up and leave for our sake, for your sake. I'm a leave. I'm gonna create space here.
listen, and I'm trying to create a situation where I don't take this broom and bang up on this ceiling.
Yes.
And then if you knock on my door, I'm calling the cops immediately.
I'll
Because
threaten.
I'm tired. I'm tired. Like I've been nice. I've been calm.
Yeah.
And at this point, you're just inconsiderate.
Yeah.
So I
So
told
we
you
look
today.
forward to this conversation next week of conflict
Yes.
styles and managing out our responses
I
and
just want to get
reaction
back
to
in.
thank you all who joined us today on this conversation. Today, I unpacked a little bit about weight loss journey, my weight loss surgery and other things, and all the things about, just starting my conversation about my journey. And I look forward to sharing more. Thank you all who's engaged with us today and joined us for week 4.
We did it, Kiki.
Week 4, y'all. And we're going to do our best to have this live up at least by Hold Us Accountable. At least by Wednesday.
Like,
have it up on YouTube. We did it, girl. It's 4 weeks.
Consistent. We have been consistent.
I am so tired.
Travel, baptisms, taking your kid. Where you took her?
Disney on Ice.
Disney on Ice.
No. That was a Saturday. That was we was out.
We was
the day
out.
before. We was out. We was Disney
night.
Ice, and we was in the green room all night. We had some White Castle. Got up. Did some things. Went to see your sister's house.
Like,
no, it's okay. Keep listen. We're gonna be doing this thing till the Lord says so. Till He says otherwise. We on this journey. So come back. Week 2 and 3 are already on YouTube. Week 1 we haven't put. We're gonna try to figure it out. We might try to get that on YouTube too. But at least the episodes 2 and 3 are definitely on YouTube. We haven't even thought about episode 1, but we'll figure that out too. But the replays will be on there. It's the same handle. What is it? Heal with Love. What's the YouTube? Well, go to our page, Heal with Love Pod. I dropped the handle in there, and you can find the link there. And when we post, yeah, or even go on our page, you'll see and now some of our tag posts. You can find it on our page. Each of our pages, Heal with Love Pod, and then you'll find the link to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Set up your notifications if you want to watch the playback or anything. And please also, if any part of this conversation, we like to play highlights. If any part of this conversation resonated with you, please drop us a note. Let us know. We'd love to get your feedback. If you want to hear different topics from us, any ideas, don't get too happy because we don't like too much. Jasmine likes people telling her what to do, so I don't want to trigger her too much. But if you can share,
excuse me.
Don't anybody tell her what to do. So don't come off. Let me explain something to you. You can give a suggestion, but don't come in the inbox telling us what to do. I'll be honest. Neither one of us like people telling us what to do. Don't tell me what we should do.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about both of us? Or you just talking about me?
I came back around. You can give a suggestion, but don't. I'm just gonna give you a suggestion. Don't tell me what y'all need to do.
You don't do that.
Say, hey, I would love to see. I'm giving y'all a blueprint. I would love to see, or would you mind considering a conversation about this, or could you talk more about this? It really helped me. I'm giving you a blueprint of how to communicate with us because we're very funny about how you. Because the fastest way to get ignored is telling me. Right. The very quickest way to get ignored is a directive. You want to get ignored by us? Give a directive. Because who are you?
At work. I only take
if you ain't part of my paycheck, you're not giving me no directive. If you're not God the Father and the Holy Ghost, I'm not taking your directive.
I'm not taking.
And if till I'm married, if you become my husband and my partner, if you're not
get a husband, then maybe I'll take some directive.
Because I'm gonna ask my husband first. I'm gonna ask my husband. My man.
Yo, listen. I think I have one of those my man spirits somewhere down in here.
I definitely gonna be that obnoxious friend.
I think I have one down there. Somewhere in this.
Husband's sad.
Somewhere in all of this,
she's there. She's there.
I think she.
I met a little bit of her. I met a little bit of that version of me in my previous relationship.
I thought you was about to talk about something else about the oatmeal, but don't say. Leave it at that. When you said it,
I wasn't even going there. I wasn't even going there. Oh, I put that part of you. I didn't even think about that, but I got a preview. Let me tell y'all something. If a man ever make you oatmeal with butter and sugar,
And coffee with
my
creamer.
God.
My God.
We shouldn't tell your secrets, yeah, because men don't have,
It's
oh, that's
okay.
how I get
I'm
her.
single. I'm single now. It don't matter.
You
I ain't
know,
seen
mine
nobody.
was when they made me some mango tea. That's what got me. The
Ooh,
mango
mango tea
tea.
got you, girl.
Girl got me good. Got me. I said, oh, he made me some mango
A
tea.
man who could cook and pray. That's really all I need
That's
in this
what,
life.
that's the one that was a real struggle. They prayed with me. Can we pray? I was like,
Ooh, see, they
well,
be.
you want to get married tomorrow?
Can you say a good prayer? Can you
A
pray?
good prayer, and
And you
then my
pray.
favorite ice cream, honey. You see
Can
why
you
I was
cook?
in? You think why I see how I was dangerously in love?
Listen,
They be playing in your face.
listen. Can you make me Can you make me breakfast? Because I cook for people all the time, and I cook for myself
Can I
every day.
tell you? Yes, Jasmine. And one of the reasons why I fell in love because the man cooked more for me than I cooked for myself. This man cooked more for me than I cooked than like typically I'm a cooker. So like being in a relationship, I cook for men, like men I date.
Mhm.
This man cooks for me more than I cook for him.
Listen, listen.
You got your own place and you can cook.
I'm not a complicated. I'm not a complicated woman. I'm fine with some oatmeal and some coffee. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lord,
And I think he made me
restraining.
some toast too.
He made this.
I
Girl,
think it
mine
was
made
some
me some salmon, some broccoli and rice, some mango tea.
toast.
My God,
Child, well,
we thank God for the good moments, the good memories.
we thank God for
It ain't all
nostalgia.
bad. It ain't all
It ain't
bad. But yeah,
all
we
bad.
going it
It
ain't
ain't
all
all
bad.
bad.
There was
We
some good
thank God for the
experiences
good
in
times.
there,
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, thank
And
you,
that was my
Jesus.
last relationship too.
That's just a preview of what is coming down because God's gonna take all those experiences when the man that he brings to you. He's gonna have all. He's gonna cook for you. He's gonna pray
And
with
he
you, pray
pray
for
with me.
you. He's gonna
Mhm.
affirm you. He's gonna know how to stay with it. He saw me. Jerome saw me. I was going somewhere. He called me. He said, "Stay with it." He
He
saw it in
knows you.
my
Knows you
eyes.
that good. He's like, come here, come here, come here.
I veered off. I veered off.
Yeah,
But
but no,
I redirected. I
I,
redirected.
I pray, I pray that for both of us, and
Who
but
that
those are
black
real
mango
things, don't I
tea?
think? To me, those are the core things that I'm looking for now. Like
We
I,
bind the spirit of dry rags.
who said that?
I said it.
Oh, you said that? Yo, I cannot. I can't. I cannot.
Oh, okay,
Kiki,
yo. On that note,
on that note, y'all have a blessed week.
Ooh.
Don't let tomorrow
Mm,
stress you out.
my God.
Those of us who know what our assignments are, continue your assignment. If you don't know what your assignment is, I pray
Ask
that you
God.
figure out your assignment.
My God.
But don't you let what them people doing tomorrow at that White House trouble you no more than it already has. Because I bind that spirit. It is
Amen.
what it is, and this is where we are. And we gonna find community, and we gonna
Yes.
get through the next 4 years.
Can I leave you with this? I feel like this is just led to feel this. So my daily devotion today was the lie of guilt. And the lie is going to tell us that our past mistakes define who we are today. But the truth is that in Christ, we are a new creation. Our past does not define us. God's forgiveness has set us free. So I'm going to give you one scripture. And it says 2 Corinthians 5:17, NIV version. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, a new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here. So do not let your past tell you that you're not worthy, that you're not deserving. And I'm gonna do one more scripture. I like this one too. Psalms 10, 3 to 103 and 12. It says, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. So don't let anybody, if God can remove our transgressions and forgive us, do not let anybody hold any of your past mistakes over your head and tell you you're not worthy. If they're not willing to forgive you and look past it, that's on them. Remember, God has forgiven you. You are new in him every day. We are given his grace. Do not let anybody or even yourself tell yourself the lie that you're not worthy and that your past defines your present and your future. We love you.
Amen.
It was love.
Have a good one. I'm about to go eat this vegetarian chili I
I'm about
made.
to have the shrimp lo mein I had from last night. Love
But
you.
you sit
Oh,
right there.
no. I'm about to eat the rest of my brunch that I had earlier today. I
Oh,
went
okay.
with the
But
Peaches
you
Prime
sit right
today.
there, Miss Jackson. Don't move. I'm about to end the stream.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
Yes,
Have a
ma'am.
good
She
week.
just told me what to do. Okay.
That's right. I did. Thank you. We're a partnership, so I gave you a directive. I hope you can follow it.
Oh, Jesus. Bye.